last year by Boban en route towards winning both the Epsom Handicap and the Emirates the year before, steps in time. It's a quality race. We've got a small but elite field.
About 3 lengths on Monton and Manawanui, followed by Rock Sturdy, and then Tougher Than Ever. He got a bit of a check there. He lost ground. He went back to last. Riva de Largo went past him. So at the 1,000-metre mark onto the course proper, Aussies Love Sport in front, leads by a couple of lengths on Fade, and he'll get a lovely drag up behind it, about 2.5 to Monton. He's sitting one off the rail on the outside of Manawanui, followed by Rock Sturdy, and then Riva de Largo, and Tougher Than Ever, ridden a lot quieter today, is back at the tail of the field. Aussies Love Sport given a breather with about 650 to go. Leads from Fade on, and then Monton, followed by Manawanui. Rock Sturdy was next on the outside of Riva de Largo, and Tougher Than Ever last, about 5 or 6 off the lead as they start to pack a little. So Aussies Love Sport in front, Fade on a half away as they turn. Monton's come up on the outside, 3 wide. Manawanui looks for a run back on the rail. Riva de Largo locked away in the centre. Rock Sturdy's on the outside. Fade on went up to Aussies Love Sport. They're battling it out. Rock Sturdy's about to claim on the outside. Manawanui's getting a split one off the rail. Rock Sturdy hit the lead. Manawanui's going with him though, and Manawanui has taken the front. Great training performance. Manawanui beat Rock Sturdy, Tougher Than Ever. Then Fade on Monton, Riva de Largo, and Aussies Love Sports finished last of all.
Well, what a credit he is to Ronnie Lehman. What a credit to Ron Lehman and his team. Number 2, Manawanui. He's got plenty of improvement to come. He's going to be a player this spring carnival. Number 2, Manawanui, just as number 5, Rock Sturdy, runs home. 2, 5 and 4. And Richo, I tell you what, I wasn't on him, but that is an unbelievable and a great training effort and a great achievement for this horse.
Well, even if you didn't support him,
You ever think at one stage you won't get him back to the track?
Mate, I was hoping that everything goes right for me. You know, we put a lot of hard work into it, and the plan's been for 12 months, and it's come off. It's amazing.
It is a great...
Mark, a great training performance, 3 years since a Golden Rose win, and injuries and frustrations and time and patience. Rich, no one could be great.
He was good yesterday, showed a good turn of foot. Chris was just saying how genuine Tougher Than Ever is. You'd like a stable full of them, wouldn't you, Chris?
It was gets back on. He rode her at her first 2 wins. The best part was it was 3 lengths. It was dynamic. She blew them away. She's clearly the one to beat. She's really come on.
And Costa Largo filly, number 5, Sultry Feeling, who ran 4th in the field.
Year-olds, and obviously Winks, she's the favourite, but 2 horses that really caught the eye, and I know they're up in grade. Lady Sharapova and also First Seal looked at picture of health in the yard, both paraded nice and relaxed, but these fillies need...
In betting, but, black figures were available earlier in the week.
Well, as Mark Sheen said in the early mail, which was already a surprise, and got out to 380 pretty quickly. He's now back to 360. Peggy Jean, 17.
Red light is on. And there they go. Off and racing, and Sultry Feeling began well. So did Earthquake. She came out very fast. And McAvoy sends her to the lead early. So Earthquake strides away. Winks jumped out nicely, settles down second, followed by First Seal and then Lady Sharapova. And leads by a length and a quarter. Winks is running second from First Seal, Lady Sharapova. Sultry Feeling's off the track. Alpha Miss and Peggy Jean's going up in the middle. They're still crawling as they come down to the 800. Earthquake in front. Leads by 3/4 of a length on the favourite Winks, and then First Seal, Lady Sharapova. A half on the outside, Sultry Feeling is wide. Alpha Miss was next, and Peggy Jean back last of all. Hasn't been run to suit her. They've dawdled in front. Nearing the home bend, about 500 to go. Earthquake in front, leads by a neck on Winks on the outside. So first and second favourites head up for home. In front of First Seal, Lady Sharapova, Sultry Feeling. It's Earthquake in front. Winks on the outside, called on Earthquake, about a neck in front at the moment. Then First Seal. Earthquake's responding here. He'll have to get busy on Winks, and First Seal is running a race on the inside. 3 of them settling down to fight it out. First Seal has hit the lead. Here's a boil over. Beat Winks and Earthquake. Followed by Alpha Miss and then Sultry Feeling, Lady Sharapova, and Peggy Jean at the back of the field.
Well, we interviewed John Thompson before the race, and First Steel, big step in grade, but she's handled it a nicety up on the inside of Earthquake, who wanted to run away from Kieran McAvoy in the straight. And First Seal, Winks, she was gallant, beaten at $1.80's not ideal, but just wow.
Yeah, back on a dry track, you know, she just hasn't been showing that turn of foot that we know she's got at home. And back today, you know, did get a good run in the race from barrier 1, but you know, she's run best to the best fillies in the country there, and she's untapped. Very, very high class filly, and hopefully she can go on to bigger and better things.
We've been saying since we started talking about this filly, John, when she come on the scene, 14's not going to be a go today at her best, but wow, today at 14 she handled it well.
Yeah, once she gets over those classic distances, she'll really come to the fore. I said that to the owners yesterday. These horses are probably going to be too nippy over the 1400, but as I said, class takes you a long way, and I'd struggle to think a better horse that I've had.
A new lease in your life.
No fluke, Rich. All honours to First Seal there. Obviously, strong T-Rose.
Yeah, look, Earthquake had a picnic in front. I think they're going to freshen her up and try and look for the.
Well, don't you think she was very disappointing, Richard?
I said yesterday in trackside, Mark, she was disappointing.
On her form last time in, to lead at that tempo, she should have won that race by 4 or 5 lengths on her form last time in. She's dead set lost a leg.
Yeah, and I think they're going to try and freshen up 1,000, 1,100. And Winks, she just got that little bit lost, and she couldn't sprint. I think she's a far better horse off at tempo. I'll get Chris's thoughts in a moment, but I thought First Seal was outstanding and back on top of the ground, and the form was obviously good around it after getting beat on the heavy track when I don't think she looked comfortable, because when she did, she ran good sectionals when she won on the Kensington track. What did you make of
over a bit of ground too? They could get her up over 2,000 metres for sure, maybe more.
She may have been 20-1, but there was no fluke in this performance. This is a high-class filly. Always has been. Took Sway Nest to beat her last time, and that was a forgiving run. Back to the fillies here. I know she got a few breaks, but her and Winks are two of the best 3-year-old mile fillies in Australia. I've got no doubt about it. Winks had to be ridden that way, considering the circumstances. She'll be better in a proper race. At least she showed some adaptability where she could put herself there, but she's a better finisher, and she just got put off the bit when they sprinted there. And look, the market's reacted accordingly there. Before First Seal should be favourite, although she was a long shot yesterday. If she's heading in that direction, I don't know whether she is, Andrew, and I don't know whether Winks is, because we got the flight stakes here as well. So
for a dominant player in this race. Let's have a look at the runners in the mounting yard here for the Ascend Sales Trophies at Hill Stakes, 2,000 metres. Wait for
$4 to $5.50. La Emmerstad, $6 out to $8, back into $7, back into 7, 8 into 7. La Emmerstad. The feature in Melbourne in the next.
Dead on side, jumped that okay. Honorius next to it, showing speed, and it goes to the lead just after the start. Janoob away well, settled up in a handy spot on the outside, going to second now, in fact, to Shade La Amistad. Then came Criterion, followed by Bagman, and Moriarty is last of all. It's only a crawl in the early stages. Honorius taken on by Janoob. The rider's going to take the initiative on it. And Janoob now goes to the lead front. Leads by 3/4 on Criterion, and then Honorius, who's locked up in a pocket on the rail. Moriarty next on the outside. He's 2.5 lengths off the lead. La Amistad a little bit awkwardly placed on the rail at the moment. And last of all is Bagman. He's going a bit quicker on the leader now, Janoob. He's trying to slip a break here coming towards the home turn. Leads by 2 on Criterion. Honorius, Moriarty. La Amistad left a little bit flat-footed as they sprinted. And Bagman is back last of all. It's Janoob in front. Honorius trying to push off the fence. Criterion out after the leader. Then further back in behind them, Moriarty. Janoob's in front with 150 to go. Criterion sets out after, but Janoob is still going well. And they're clear from Honorius and then Moriarty. Janoob's in front from Criterion. He's pitched this in front, Janoob. Well rated. And Janoob's too good. Beat Criterion. Bagman came through into third. And then Honorius, La Amistad and Moriarty has finished at the back of the field.
Well, Blake Shin's on fire this time for the Chris Waller stable. Number 3, Janoob, back on top of the ground. That's good.
Shin, telling factor in so many races, Richard. We've seen it time and time again, and doesn't.
By Blake Shin for Chris there, and Janoob, number 36 in the Caulfield Cup at the moment. Chris, I've got about 14 above you out, so you're edging a bit closer.
Be in there well ahead of Janoob, yet a horse like Janoob probably deserves to be getting a crack at a race like this now that he's in form. So even likes of Who Shot the Barman, he's an Auckland Cup winner, Avondale Cup winner, Group 2 and Group 1, and he's miles down the list. So
you stay for the Metrop with him, Chris?
Well, we might have to. I'm not going to.
And that was a lovely ride too, Ron. He just went to the front, slowed them up and raced away.
A young man in the peak of his form, Blake Shin. He rode 3 winners yesterday. He read the play beautifully here, took up the running. This horse likes the Randwick 2000. He quickened at the right time. And
that's the key.
Yeah, he didn't wait too long.
Exactly. I was going to say exactly the same thing. That's a jockey in form. When he quickened about the 600-metre mark. And most jockeys want to wait
earlier than that.
Well, even earlier. But most jockeys want to wait till they're nearly on the bend before they start to quicken. For this horse, it would have been too late. He needed to get those others off the bit.
He took them off the bit, didn't he? Before the turn, before they could challenge him.
I agree.
And the race was all over.
And it's on her at the moment. And he's just got overhyped.
I'm honoured Group 1 George Main Stakes, and a terrific race this year, won by some of the stars of Australian racing over the years. And it is $5 the field and 4 equal favourites. Sensational betting race. And we start
Sacred Falls 5 into 4. It's the best back runner here, clearly, according to the bookmakers, in front of number 10, Panda Division, who's $4.
Racing in the George Main. Gypsy Diamond straight back to last. Panther Division began well, and Laserhawk jumped out a lot better today, and he's being sold forward to go to the front. So Laserhawk took over and leads from Panther Division. Rising Romance is right up on the speed today, settling down in third spot, followed by a Royal Descent, and then Hawkspur Sacred Falls starting to drop off, followed by Terranado and Lucia Valentina and Gypsy Diamond. So Laserhawk slowing them right down here in the middle stages. Leads by 3/4 of a length. The 3-year-old Panther Division on the outside from Royal Descent and Rising Romance. Those two mares on the back of the speed. Hawkspur being revved up now by Cassidy, starting to make a move. Then Sacred Falls, Gypsy Diamonds made up a little bit of ground. Toydini, Terranado and Lucia Valentina back on the rail last of all. As they turn for home, Laserhawk taken on by Panther Division. On the outside, Rising Romance and Hawkspur. Gypsy Diamond is next. Sacred Falls looking to thread through. There's not a lot of room. And then Royal Descent, it's still Laserhawk in front. Now Sacred Falls has seen the gap, and Sacred Falls sprinted through with 100 metres to go. Burton saw the gap, sent him through it, and Sacred Falls raced away. Another second for Royal Descent. Laserhawk is third. Then Hawkspur, Lucia Valentina, followed by Panther Division, and then Toydini. Gypsy Diamond made a dash and then tied, followed further back by Rising Romance, and Terranado was at the back of the field.
Oh, that's the Jill Doncaster winner. He was awesome when he was let go. He really exploded through. Number 1, Sacred Falls. Zach Purton back from Honkers.
3 big Randwick miles to Sacred Falls, 4:30 and 180. Royal Descent continues this amazing run of runner-up performances.
Big horse. Chris has done a great job with him, and he loves the mile here, so full credit to him.
Zach, you've had
Good to see him win today on a good track. He's not just a wet tracker. Prior to coming to me, he won a Group 1 in New Zealand on a pretty firm track, and it was good to see, or show to Australia today, that he's not a wet tracker, simple as that. So that's his 4th Group 1 win, all at a mile. What more can you ask? And it's just good when a plan comes off. He's been set for the race. As soon as they said they were going to continue racing him, he could have been in the breeding barn, but thankfully they pushed on and showed that he's a pretty dominant horse. First up, second up, but how can you screw them down when you need to be going towards races like, it's not easy.
And the other two went terrific. Hawkspur's
Play, but it's not easy.
And the other two went terrific. Hawkspur's run 4th and Royal Descent run 2nd.
Well, a second win in the George Main for trainer Chris Waller, a 4th at the Randwick Mile for Sacred Falls. This one, wait for age, this one on good ground. And this time Sacred Falls showing that he is the real deal and a live contender for this busy Cox Plate. Trained by Chris Waller, who had Royal Descent.
And obviously they were on wetter tracks. But his run in the Queen Elizabeth when he ran second, coming from a near impossible position, did it for me. And to get him fit and on a good track yesterday, it certainly showed Australia or the rest of the world how good he is on a good track as well.
Chris, he was a little bit further back yesterday. Of course, they went along a bit faster than they had in the 2 previous runs, and he'd been right up on the speed. So do you think that dented his sprint in his last couple of runs? He was able to sit back a little bit further yesterday.
Yeah, most definitely. It was a genuine, well, that was the way to ride him yesterday, and through lack of pace in those previous races, it's made it hard. But yeah, Zach backed his confidence yesterday, knew what he had under him, and I think it was the telling factor for sure.
So obviously,
He absolutely loves that Randwick Mile. He's won 2 Doncasters. They were going to retire him at one stage. Thankfully, they've kept him going, and he's still winning Group 1s. Zach was straight on a...
Too many mistakes on this. There was another Group 1 on him. He's a real pattern horse, and Chris knows him like the back of his hand. He won the 3rd up, the Doncaster last preparation, and he was always had 3rd up written all over him since day one, and he's absolutely peaked on the right day now. Chris can hold him there now, and he deserves a crack at the Cox Plate. Royal Descent, well, that's 3 group placings now out of 3 runs, or group seconds, I should say, at 3 runs back from the spell. So hopefully her turn is not far off. Laserhawk controlled the speed and got the bias in his favour. there was a couple of good runs in this race, and probably not flashing light runs. They were just the way the track played was hard out wide. So I thought Lucia Valentina was very, very good. And Koi Dini was a little bit of a dark.
Had been on rain-affected ground. But it's spring, and even a good track in spring has a bit of give in it. It's not like autumn firm ground when you've had a whole summer on it. So I miscalculated that, and he is the best miler in the country by a long way. I agree with all you said. The runs behind, there were some very good ones. And
the latest when they're out the track with Dean Pennant here at Randwick.
Alma's offers furniture, the shorts, the sprint last of the day. Famous Seamus, 20 out to $21. Sessions. Now, as Richo made, you didn't have to be Albert Einstein to work out Richo's had something on this. It just kept drifting. He was blowing up. Well, it got out to $6. It's now back into $5. The favourite Terra Vista's $2.40, rock solid.
Ready now, and they're off. Wouldn't it be nice? Jump well, and so too did I'm All the Talk and Safeguard out wider on the track. And it's I'm All the Talk just in front with Safeguard now going up to join it. Didn't cost a lot. And then came Whittington, followed by Terra Vista. He'll settle down in fifth spot. Villaverde wide early. Jockey dragging it back to try and get a trail. Sessions on the inside of it from Wouldn't It Be Nice? I've Got the Looks, and last is Famous Seamus. It's I'm All the Talk in front near the 600. Leads by a length and a half. Safeguard. Didn't cost a lot was next, followed by Whittington, Terra Vista. Now forced out three wide. Sessions is directly behind it. And then Villaverde just looks to be losing a little bit of ground there as they turn, followed by I've Got the Look. So I'm All the Talk, kicked away up the rise. It's a couple in front, but Terra Vista is coming out of the pack out after it. I'm All the Talk in front. Terra Vista in the centre of the track, moving up out after it. And then Sessions and Famous Seamus. Terra Vista took over with 100 to go. The favourite raced away. And Terra Vista, he is a winner. He goes down to win it from I'm All the Talk or Famous Seamus. I've Got the Look, Sessions. And then came in behind them next. Whittington didn't cost a lot. Wouldn't It Be Nice? Villaverde, and Safeguard showed speed, got tired, finished last of all.
Let me tell you, he's a serious racehorse. Things didn't go really right. Corey Brown had to push the button early. Oh, I love the way what he did. Oh, he's a serious horse. Number 3, Terra Vista. Corey Brown gets...
This horse is amazing. He's the best horse I've ever had, and hopefully not the best horse I ever have, but he's the best so far.
Things didn't go 100% right today. Things didn't go 100% right today.
He's a winner, right? That's 8 out of the 11 for him, and sets up a clash with the world's best sprinter, allegedly, in Lankan Rupee in the Manikato. Of course, he runs in the Moya, firstly on the Friday night. But you got to listen when Joe.
He got pushed a little bit wide in the middle stages, and he couldn't get in. And then when he took off, I thought he was outstanding. Thought it was a win of the day. He was very good. Look, the second horse, I'm All the Talk, well done. They're back on top of the ground. They've got a Group 2 placing. And I thought Famous Seamus terrific, who's won the shorts before, to come real wide. No horse did that all day.
Yeah, well, as we said on the show when he won recently, he was just winning last time in, but this time he's exploding away from the opposition. He's really learned to race now, and he will give Lankan Rupee a race. It'll be a great clash.
What do you make of Whittington?
In your column today, you say he could be the best sprinter in Australia, Terra Vista.
Well, it's looking one of two, either him or Lankan Rupee, and hopefully by the end of the spring we find out. Now, this horse has never been beaten at 1,200 metres and under. You know, Joe stretched him out. The 2 times he's been beaten have been at 1,500 metres. But trained as a sprinter, this is what he can do. Like, he didn't have any luck from barrier 4. He got caught 3 deep with no cover, would you believe? And he just cruises up here. He runs race record time. He's a special sprinter. And Joe has said it all along, and I think most people are just starting to believe him. I thought Famous Seamus was one of the runs of the day out wide there, running on strongly. The well-fancied Sessions, he's a bit of a powder puff, I think. He's a bit of a powder puff.
that time was made by...
Up to the Jack London Naturalism Stakes. Let's get struck straight into these because they'll be on the track in a minute, and they're trying to get themselves, all of these, the 12 of them, into the Crown Golden Ale Caulfield Cup Spillway. Could David Hayes have 4? He could have 6 by the end of the day. Spillway of
Naturalism, and the starters caught them in a pretty good line. Spillway wasn't the best to bounce out. He just has to be bustled to get a position in the early part. And Foundry got to the front pretty comfortably early, but now here's Bonfire coming over. Entirely Platinum and Gricaro are up there in the early stages, and Spillway settled 5th on the rail. So it's Williams who takes Bonfire to the lead, a length and a half to Gricaro second. Entirely Platinum is holding third. Fifth on the inside of theirs, Let's Make a Deal. And around the outside of Basenko took off very quickly in a dawdling speed, and he's rushed up to get near the speed. They were being followed further back by Areldo. Our Voodoo Prince Kincapel towards the end with Albanetti. So Ibasenko on an early move with 800 left to go has gone up to set the race alight. Bonfire the inside and Gricaro with Ibasenko joining them. A length and a half on Entirely Platinum. Foundry's had a beautiful run. They're being followed. Let's Make a Deal. A length and a half to Spillway. Awkwardly positioned before the turn at the 600. And then Areldo Kincapel, our Voodoo Prince, and 3 lengths to Albanetti. Bonfire, the leader, coming around the turn. Gricaro's racing up to join him on the outside. Foundry just behind them. Ibasenko looked a shot duck. Areldo to the outside. Spillway. Oliver's going to have to try and thread the needle, but he hasn't got a run. Gricaro, Bonfire turning together. Here's Areldo with his head turned, wanting to run on. Spillway, still no run, and then now Voodoo Prince. Gricaro and Bonfire from Entirely Platinum, and back behind them Albanetti. Gricaro only narrowly now. Entirely Platinum drives through on the inside, but Gricaro held on, and he's into the Caulfield Cup. He's won it from Entirely Platinum. Photos for third. Now we've got Ibasenko out wide. It was Albanetti and Bonfire on the rail. Spillway just behind them, followed by Foundry, Let's Make a Deal. Our Voodoo Prince Areldo and Kincapel last.
Side with Alco Pop, carrying his family colours here, and Mellon positive early. He's outstayed them. There's more to come from this bloke who goes off at $16 here and outstays Entirely Platinum, lining up for 30. But full marks here to Benny Mellon. Great positive ride. And it's also into a Caulfield Cup. It's been a while coming for him, but he's on song.
Yeah, I mean, last start, we sort of knew he would come on a lot from that and the trip over, and he's been a handful out the back this morning. Kylie's done a great job walking around, and we sort of knew he was going to run well, but that draw and everything, I was a little bit worried, and Ben's done a great job. I was a little bit worried too. Ben was half over, and then a few other things. I was like, oh no, what's happening? But he's done, yeah, great ride, and to get that spot there, and horse was travelling on the bend, and I think he's actually got more improvement in him. I was only rating him. Yeah, I was in one race at a time. Otherwise I get too antsy. He can go from one to the next. So we'll decide, obviously. But no, obviously it's been a work.
He is in the Caulfield Cup. Well done to Jake Stevens. Terrific trainer. Of course, he almost won a Caulfield Cup with Alco Pop, beaten by Dunedin a couple of years ago, and he's been plotting a path for this horse, and he's got him in. Terrific ride
from him. What about Albanetti?
Yep.
Coming off some South Australian form at 100-1, spec'd into 60s as well yesterday. Ran a stormer down the outside. No luck, of course, Spillway. Just wherever Damien Oliver went with him, he ran into traffic. Really bad luck for the connections of that horse, because that was seen as his opportunity to get through to that course.
He looks at 2,000 metres. All his form looks to be at 2,000 metres, and I thought it was a heady ride. There was only 2 fair rides in this race, and that was by Ben Mellon on the winner and by Craig Williams on the third horse, Bonfire. The rest were awful. These jockeys didn't read the play of this race whatsoever. Even Entirely Platinum, he handed up his position too early, and he had a hard luck tail coming in, not getting balanced and warmed up. Spillway was just absolutely ugly, and some of these things out the back just had none. But an impossible race to assess.
Paper and proved to be pretty disappointing on track. Yeah, just leave some question marks about horses that everybody assumed would head to a Caulfield Cup and be a live chance. Well, maybe.
All right,
and strong through the line. I think a softer tempo here suits, because he is a horse that can really rip up a good final 300-metre sprint.
3 Super Cool on the back up. Obviously needs this and slowly getting fitter.
He's a big gross sort of type.
Whether it's not today, he's just right on track for where Gay wants him for the Caulfield Cup / Melbourne Cup.
Last 400 in 24.14, last 200 in 12.23 there in the Dardo Township Class Act. I think she's come back better this spring than she did last spring when she followed the Memsey Underwood pattern. I expect her to sort of sit in the first 4 or 5, and Hayes Day can continue here. This horse was just so good in the Heatherly. I think he's a weight for age horse. To beat Silent Achiever might just catch her that run short today. Happy Trails is now into $11. So Paul Bashara, the trainer of Happy Trails, expects the horse known as Roy.
It's a few cracks at stipulate here. Obviously, Hayes Dabney looking for better luck than they did have with Spillway in the naturalism, but stipulate is the market mover here. Horse number 9, 5 into $4, holding up strongly on the tote, because Silent Achiever is...
Underwood Field is ready, 1,800. They're set. Big race of the day. Group 1, weight for age. A little bit of movement in the middle stall. They're racing. Happy Trails jumped away evenly. Stipulate goes back. Crackerjack King began well. Silent Achievers in the first half a dozen as they settle down and try and sort out their order here. With Ladari holding his place on the inside. Star rolling in the centre and Crackerjack King. Thoughtworthy pressing on out very wide on the course, and just behind them, Silent Achiever, one away. It's Crackerjack King, the leader. The grey to the side of the course, leads by 2 lengths, going on ahead of Ladari and Thoughtworthy. In behind them, Foreteller, fourth on the inside, and then Star rolling when they go by the 800 metres. Followed Happy Trails, and back behind those horses, then Silent Achiever on the outside, and then Stipulate and Super Cool on the offer as last of all. Crackerjack King, he's a big leader down the side. He's been well off the rail in parts, leading from Ladari and Thoughtworthy. Star rolling fourth and Foreteller fifth the inside. Silent Achiever started to be niggled at when they corner, and then Happy Trails and Stipulate. Coming around the turn, though, and it's Crackerjack King about 6 away from the rail. Ladari coming through on the inside, and then Star rolling, Silent Achiever, and Happy Trails. Crackerjack King giving a side at the 200 from Ladari. Foretellers coming now. Happy Trails is lifting. Silent Achiever the outside. Crackerjack King all out. They swamp him. Happy Trails and Foreteller drive to the lead. Happy Trails, Foreteller, they hit it. I think Foreteller a nose to Happy Trails. Crackerjack King 2 lengths away. Third from Ladari. Silent Achiever ground away. Followed by Super Cool. And then behind those to finish was Stipulate. Star rolling the offer and Thoughtworthy.
Does he get his Group 1 again today? Is it Foreteller? It is Foreteller. Gee, Happy Trails sticking over nicely to avenge his Cox Plate defeat of last year. Crackerjack King away from the fence all race. Silent Achiever okay late here, but Foreteller, terrific win today. He deserves to break through. Bossy, Group 1 action. Didn't have time to go for the wave there, Bossy. But a spectacular win. A great day for Chris Waller. The Group 1's in both states, and he's on a racing review tomorrow.
Be a part of it, isn't it?
If he doesn't win, he runs well, and there might be reasons of tempo or traffic for his defeat, but he's just maintained a high level of form.
He has. He always tries. He's very honest. I was a little bit worried today because he was a bit handier than usual, and I was hoping he'd sprint, and I think it just was good. The other horse came back a bit, and he's quite happy.
I think Foreteller a nose to Happy Trails.
A terrific race, a lot of happy connections coming out of it, but none more so than Neil Werrett and the team with Foreteller. An 11th career victory, another Group 1 first for just over a year. Of course, won the Mackay Lever last year, ran fourth in a Cox Plate thereafter, but this race always a good reference for the Cox Plate. But good to see him back striking the line like that, Chris.
Yeah, very much so. He's a special horse to us. He's certainly in his vintage years, but gee, he's got a big heart, as you can see, and we were very proud of that yesterday.
Was it the Rambit Stakes when Jimmy won on him a couple of years ago? And I think you thought, oh, that's about it. What a wonderful horse he's been. He's won 2 Group 1 since then.
Yeah, he's, I've always said he's not a superstar, but gee, he's got a big heart. But he might be changing my thoughts as well. And full credit to him. And obviously a gem of a ride by Glenn Boss. And it was a very well.
Paul's done a great job with him. He said all along that he'd be peaking Cox Plate Day, and he ran a blinder today. If you saw him in the yard, he clearly looked big. I galloped him Tuesday morning and had a massive puff, so I actually wasn't expecting that much, but it just shows that those old horses, they show up every year, and he's absolutely flying.
You know, I'm away with a pass mark from that race, Shark.
I would have thought so. Really hard to win the race, obviously, in the middle stages if you were worse than midfield. I thought Super Cool's times were excellent, really comparable to Happy Trails, who, of course, was much closer to the speed. So he's one that might get under the radar a little bit going forward.
All right, let's take about, I don't know where we're at with these horses getting in. Lucia Valentina is definitely a runner, number 15, and certainly their $11 Bando Rising Romance, well, they're qualified. Spillway's not qualified. Who Shot the Barman's number 48, a long way to go for it. And Bivol
was the Underwood Stakes. Foreteller, it was his third run into this campaign. Last year he won the Mackay Diva Stakes. He's won 3 Group 1s in total. Glenn Boss, his jockey, is joining us from Caulfield. Is it possible he could pick up one?
Watched you coming back to scale. We just had the vision on the camera there, and you looked very, very happy. Back in the Group 1 winner's circle. Now, people say, Glenn Boss, he needs a big room. Right? He doesn't play to the small stage. He likes the big stage. Is that fair criticism? Are you a better rider on a big stage? Do you get bored with the little races?
I get bored with the scenario that keeps getting thrown at me, to be quite honest. You know, like, Richard, sometimes you can be a victim of your own success. Sometimes, you know, listen, it just makes me not angry, but it just puts fuel on my fire because I'm so determined to show people that I'm riding on. I could go toe to toe with any young bloke, 6 rounds, 3 6-minute rounds. I'm as fit as a fiddle.
Well, who is saying this stuff?
Well, you know, people
Who's
around the
they?
traps. I don't say it. People like you.
Oh, yeah. Get lost. So, Glenn, what are we actually? Happy Trails? Well, he was good in this race last year before going on to win the Turnbull, so he looks way back on target there. Look, Crackerjack King, where did he come from? He's I thought it was Viander Cross out there, the work he was doing.
It was a bit of an unusual ride.
Unusual.
What about the offer? Does he get a pass or no?
He plugged home there okay. You know, if he was a 20-1 or 40-1 chance in a Melbourne Cup on that run, you'd say he's run well. But as for a ruling favourite, just a pass. I mean, just a pass.
He hasn't stepped up yet. He needs to step up by the Turnbull Stakes meeting. If he doesn't step up there, he's not in it. Same with Sacred Falls. She'll go to that Turnbull Stakes meeting. If she doesn't put her hand up there, I'm happy to say she'll be a spent force for the spring.
Yeah.
You know, the
Silent Achiever, you mean?
Silent Achiever. Yeah. I'm sorry. That's just how I'm thinking at the moment. You know, these horses, and their trainers would be thinking the same thing. They'd be thinking, okay, you can't sack her on that run, but I need to see a bit more if we're going to go for the shoot at the big prize.
In regards to at the market again for the stock stakes, and also a reminder, first of our features, a terrific race, which is race number 2, and it is the stock stakes. Commanding Jewel, a prominent runner in the markets of the Cox Plate, has her chance.
Racing. Pingle slow by a length. Commanding Jewel jumped well, and Solicit near her inside began fast and is coming over trying to find the lead. Commanding Jewel comes across on her outside, so pretty comfortably the favourite gets up to second. Remember How's on the rails in third, and Dear Demi about a length away fourth. Running around the 800 turn, and still out in front of Solicit 3/4. Commanding Jewel second. Now they're starting to quicken up down the side. Remember How with Dear Demi holding third and fourth ahead of Esprit Rossa. Andy Pingle last. Still only 6 lengths first to last, and Solicit by a half. Commanding Jewel second the outside. Now Ollie's starting to urge her to go forward. Dear Demi's only 2 away, and then Remember How coming around the home turn, and Solicit the leader about a neck in front still. Commanding Jewel trying hard to level up with her, and Dear Demi's been stalking them all the way, and she's only a length and a half off now. So into the straight, and Solicit giving a big sight, still about a neck in front of Commanding Jewel. She's been full bore for a while. She can't get there at the moment. Now Dear Demi coming. Solicit in front. Dear Demi's going to have a lunge at her on the outside. They hit the line. Very close there between Dear Demi and Solicit. They've hit it together. Commanding Jewel third looked to have every hope. She got out sprinted. Pingle got home, and then Remember How, and dropping out to finish last, Esprit Rossa.
Well, is she on course towards a Caulfield Cup? She was fantastic in last year's Caulfield Cup. She's won the stock stakes. Her name is Dear Demi, and onwards and upwards for her this campaign. Every run, Jewel had every possible chance. The jury will be out there, but all...
Great for Clary there after what happened to him at Hawkesbury on Thursday. Third in the Caulfield Cup last year. No doubt she's going better this year, and she'll be a serious player.
Yeah, it goes to the Caulfield Stakes next as her final tune-up for that Caulfield Cup, the race she's been set for specifically this year. I think she'll be a leading contender there. Look, Commanding Jewel beaten as an odds-on favourite contender there. Look, Commanding Jewel beaten as an odds-on favourite. Every chance at face value in the run. Oliver said that she would be suited in a race run at a better tempo. We've seen 2 slow 6 runs now. Maybe she just needs that bit of a stronger gallop. Did pull up with a slow recovery after the race. And the other thing I'll note from her performance is she's one of a number of horses that sat outside the leader on the night.
Darling mare Dear Demi won the stock stakes there at Moonee Valley, and she's right on target for the Caulfield Cup run.
She's looking that way, isn't she? She's never been so consistent early in a preparation. She's never raced so well. She wants to be there. She's got a sense of timing about her. Jimmy rides her well. And look, this is a good, solid win. Solicit's a no easy beat. She controlled the race and quickened here. Look, another odds-on favourite goes down here. So in Commanding Jewel, I think they have to reassess her campaign, whether she still aims for a Cox Plate. They're realists, the Corston boys, and they may have to go back to fillies and mares class. But she was strong and very, very good there, Richard.
I agree, and I think Solicit was very good as well. I think
look,
the next race, and that is Lincoln Rupee. He's a short price favourite. Will the punters be a little gun shy? The two short price favourites so far tonight have been beaten. Well, $1.50 out to $1.55. A lot of social media commentary at TVN, hashtag don't hold back. A lot of the commentary on Twitter at the moment is you don't want to be with the short price favourites tonight. Interesting.
Richo. A lot of people have been saying there's a little chink in his armour around Moonee Valley. I know he won a 955 metre race here. And
he's the market mover, but I don't think the punters have
55. For the big Group 1 of the night, Lincoln Rupee, the $1.50 favourite on the tape. They're set to run. Ready now. Racing. Oh, Lincoln Rupee brilliantly away from the stalls. He jumped out really fast, but now Buffering goes forward and heads him. Angelic Light just off them third, and they're followed then by Unpretentious and Rebel Dane. So Buffering takes up the running now. He's just over a length in front. Lincoln Rupee in second placing, comes away from the fence now as they run the 800 turn. About a length and a half away, Unpretentious, who's pulling over on the inside, and then Angelic Light and Rebel Dane a length away. Last of the five, with Buffering leading up the side. 1 length in front, Lincoln Rupee, Unpretentious the rail. 3/4 away then on the outside, Angelic Light. She gets the stalkers railed again, and Rebel Dane a length further back. It's Buffering in front, coming down before the home turn. 1 length in front of Lincoln Rupee, is now just starting to get a little bit closer. Unpretentious, Angelic Light poised for her run. Rebel Dane last, they swing around the turn, and Buffering in front. He's about a half in front of Lincoln Rupee. Newitt throwing everything at Lincoln Rupee. Buffering nearly a length in front of him. Angelic Light coming on with 100 metres to go. Buffering only narrowly. Lincoln Rupee and Angelic Light are coming at him. Buffering hanging on as they go to the line, and he's got him. He's won. Buffering, he's fallen in. He's won it by about a long head to either Rebel Dane or Lincoln Rupee. Rebel Dane really rocketing the inside. They're followed then by Angelic Light, who just petered out a little bit late, and Unpretentious.
You are an absolute champion, Buffering. You've unfortunately chased in his career. He's chased the mighty Black Caviar. And he's just so brave, isn't he? And he's ridden by a jockey who knows him so well. 110.91. I was concerned, TB, they weren't going fast enough, that he wasn't going to test Lincoln Rupee. He's just too tough.
No, he's a wonderful rider, this bloke, isn't he?
He has been. He's just a wee champion. He tries his heart out. And that's all you can ask.
You got to lead the race, control it in front, but then pick it.
7. How much longer? I said 10. Another 3 years of this. Geez, I don't know if I could cope.
You love Moonee Valley. You want to put this in your pocket, this place. The Group 1, his first ever Group 1 was here in the Manikato. Why won't he be able to win another one of those?
Well, we come back here in 4 weeks' time and, commiserations to Mick and his team. His horse was brave. Buff's back.
He's won it.
That's 2 for Buffering Moira Stakes, and jockey Craig Neal was questioned by stewards over his tactics. They said he went too fast last time. They said he went too slow. Why did he hand up and come around to Buffering? And probably a fair question, but on the way the race was run, best horse won it.
Well, that's in the case of Newitt, that's a case of probably thinking back to that first up run, the pressure that's on him with this horse and the price that he is in the market. He didn't want to make the same mistake twice. Unfortunately, giving the lead up to Buffering, which is unlike the Cleaner, he's a very, very tough racehorse and got a good high cruising speed. It's very dangerous, and it proved to be Lincoln Rupee's undoing there on Friday night. Don't take nothing away from this horse. He has been just a marvel in his own right. Group 1 standard for a number of seasons now. A bit off his game.
Great sprinter, but it was 2 different circumstances, and Froggy didn't adapt. First up, he was soft, 1,000 metres, and all he wanted to do was chase from the moment. He jumped a length in front on Friday night. Blind Freddie knew he should have led. He could have led. He would have won the race. Still that, I thought he was a shade disappointing. But there's one bloke at Warwick Farm, Mark.
He's won Group 1 races in the last 12 months and placed in quite a few as well. His overall record run, 43 runs, 16 wins, 17 placings, nearly all in top company.
Well, his record speaks for itself, doesn't it? We named him the Bulldog, and that is exactly what he is. He dominated from the front there, and he was always going to fight out the finish. I have to be critical again of Craig Newitt. I thought he overdid it first up, and I thought he underdid it there on Saturday night. He was very negative. He flew out of the barrier, and then all of a sudden he's pulled back let this horse control a race. It was like a barrier trial. But all honours with the winner. I think the second horse had excuses. I think the third horse had excuses, Rebel Dane, and with 1.7 lengths covering the field. I've got a little question mark even on the form, Richard.
I know what you're saying about the ride on Lankan Rupee. I'm not going to make excuses for him. I think that's a hindsight thing. I don't think you could have predicted that before the race and had that plan in your head. So I don't blame Craig Newitt for that. He was only a length off the leader, buffering an extraordinarily good old horse. And Robert Heathcote has done a wonderful job with him and kept him up to that level. He may not be quite at his best, but I tell you what, he's well and truly good enough to win those races if he's looked after, and he is looked after. Lankan Rupee, he's about 2 to 3 lengths off what he was in the autumn. I don't think there's much doubt about that. He's lowered his performances, and buffering has kept his going. And I think that's the difference. I'm not making excuses for Lankan Rupee.
Headline act in the JRA Cup is certainly a character. The Cleaner is the headline act in the JRA Cup. Of course, he's already booked a ticket in the Cox Plate. And this story of the Longford Long nickname, I think his official nickname is Bill. And I tell you what, TB, he's a winner.
He certainly is, Richo, and he's been fantastic when he's been at the mile in Victoria. That's been
at 360 favourite sign-off for Mourinho 440. Big memory, 3 points shorter at $5.
Commanding,
the Cleaner. The Cleaner wins the Cox Plate. It sort of doesn't have the right ring about it, but punters sticking loyal. But punters here on track, they don't want to borrow the Cleaner.
Yeah, they are risking it big time. All right, they're milling around behind the barrier.
Cupfield on its way, and the Cleaner broke okay. Lord Durante towards the inside, got away all right. Sign-offs look to jump cleanly towards the inside. He's letting about a half a dozen or so go forward. And Lord Durante, a little bit of a surprise. He's in front, but now for not for long because the Cleaner goes up and heads him. So it's the Cleaner at the turn out of the straight. Moving up into second spot on the outside is Mourinho. And Lord Durante now posses third, being followed by Marksmanship, doing a bit of work on some metres. He's a dozen lengths away from the leader. And the Ancient King at Avastan at about 3 lengths away came Ominous. They're running to the 800 turn. And the Cleaner by 2 lengths, Mourinho, and Marksmanship 2 lengths to Lord Durante. Mr. O'Kieran within 4 of the leader, and then thanks to Big Memory, Precedence and Sign Off the outside. About 2 lengths of Astan, Ancient King, and 2.5 lengths away is Ominous. So the Cleaner leads down the side, and now he's really being stoked up by Arnold. 1.5 on Marksmanship and Mourinho. 2 lengths away, Lord Durante. This is a brutal pace. 2 lengths to thanks to Big Memory the outside. Mr. O'Kieran's hard ridden. Sign Off a lot to do. Precedence on his inside. It's the Cleaner in front coming around the home turn by a length. Mourinho trying hard to reel him in, followed then by around the outside now is Durante finishing well into the straight. It's the Cleaner still by more than a length. Mourinho knuckling down well from Lord Durante. It's the Cleaner in front though. Sexton's getting through late. The Cleaner's all out. Sexton driving, they hit it. The Cleaner's won it by ahead to Sexton. Mourinho might get third of Astan. They always finish close together. It's a photo between them for the minor end. And then Precedence. They're followed further back in the field by Mr. O'Kieran. And then Ancient.
All hail the new cult hero of Australian racing. And you don't have to be the best horse to be a cult hero or the best athlete to be a cult hero. But I tell you what, he's a cult hero. The reaction of this crowd and the reaction still now to the Cleaners, extraordinary. 1 defeat, 3 Sangster. Welcome back to the Derby winner. He's had a couple. I tell you, you got a cult hero. The reaction of this crowd in the last 200 metres is extraordinary.
Oh, well, they probably love him as much as I do.
Yeah. 2,000 metres. There was a query with him that he's given weight to them all, but you can't beat toughness.
I don't know where the query was because he's won 7 races over 2,100, so I don't know where the query was.
It was in Victoria, though. A lot of the punters were willing to take him on for some reason.
Yeah, well, I suppose Index Link beat him over 2,000. He's a pretty good horse. Yeah, Banker Mo beat him here once. He's a pretty good horse, but neither of them are on the track anymore. He buggered both of them.
Yeah, you're right. Now, stay with me. We're just going to hear from your jockey here.
Got a good tempo, but he's so courageous that he sort of breaks him up coming to the corner, and it's a real tough test for him to get past him.
Do you run him again before the Cox Plate?
No, definitely not. He'll go home and have a week in his paddock, or 4 or 5 days anyway. And then
their networks all down there spending time with you. How have you found it all?
It was enjoyable, but I don't like the media stuff too much. But they was enjoyable.
Well, I think you've been having a bit of fun with it, haven't you?
Oh yeah, we give them a game of golf and give them a hiding at that too.
Too good.
Yeah, the story survives, and you can say what you like about those behind who are unlucky, i.e. Sangster and Co. But when you've got a horse like this who rolls along in front, makes his own luck, and runs time that would have won a corner, you can't afford to do it. Look, winner was outstanding. That's his first win at 2,000 metres in Victoria. He had a 2,100 metre win at a midweeker in Sandown, but
2,000 metres in that company. That's his first victory here. So that's what you want to see going towards a Cox Plate, which will be his biggest test. Thanks to a great turnaround. Good for Trent Bus.
Is that too rich?
Yeah, look, I think he has to run it. He's got a free invitation to run in the race. He loves Moonee Valley. He proved himself over the track and distance here. I don't think it's Cox Plate form, but I think he adds a lot of interest to the Cox Plate. He's got the pattern of racing where he will be left alone. No one will be going to eyeball him in a Cox Plate because he'll rip them apart and tear their heart out. But that last 200 metres of a Cox Plate, I'll surely feel a horse like this out. But I don't want to boost Santa Claus. He's in great form and he's a real tiger.
I want him to run. Desperately want him to run at Cox Plate because, I want him to because he's going to make sure that the horse that wins it is a really good horse. As you say, he's going to stretch him out. He's going to push him to their top. It's not going to be any sit and sprint. You're not going to get ambushed by something leading, like a 3-year-old leading in front. You're going to get a real race. So he'll be there and he'll run creditably.
I think horse number 4 there running fourth was Mr. O'Kieran, who did a good job. Almalad, $2.80 favourite. Punters would be finding it hard to saddle up to another favourite, wouldn't they? But Almalad is the $2.80 favourite. Chivalry out to $3.90. Zebulon, $5.50. And then we get to double figures with the likes of a really interesting race. This is the Jeep Stut Stakes, a Group 2 race over 1,600 metres for the 3-year-olds. And we start with number 1. Gay Waterhouse has trained the last 2.
They're off. And Chivalry jumps well on the inside, and Zebulon got away very quickly. Kamayan was a bit slow to move out of the gates as they settle into stride. Almalad looked to have jumped okay, and he's got about 3 in front of him in the early part. It's a bit of a go for the lead. It's Mahaney moving up outside Moon Over Manhattan, and Kavika's out 3 wide, pressing on, and Almalad posed up just behind them in 4th placing, followed by Zebulon. Racing outside of Zebulon, about a length further back is Silent Whisper. Chivalry second last on the rail, and Kamayon is last. The field running up the side of the course, headed by Mahaney. A neck in front of Kavika, a length and a half. Moon Over Manhattan, Almalad. Silent Whisper on a move deeper out. Zebulon trying to thread the needle. They're really packing up here. There's not much room for these horses in the back to get going. Kamayon taking off, and Chivalry trying to work into it as well. Now Almalad's moved up about 4 wide, coming around the home turn. He goes to the lead ahead of Kavika and Mahaney. Back behind them is Kamayon starting to run all around the outside. It's Almalad, the leader. He's kicked away. He's 2 in front now from Mahaney, Kavika. Kamayon coming home. Moon Over Manhattan boxing on, but it's all Almalad. He's got a wall chasing him, but Almalad a 3-peat for Gay. Won it by 2 lengths. Moon Over Manhattan got up for second. Kamayon or Kavika for third. Maybe Kamayon. Followed further back by Mahaney. Chivalry the next one over. Then Zululand. Zebulon back towards the end. And Silent Whisper is last in.
He's a quality 3-year-old Almalad. He's third up from a spell. His first up run was on a wet track. He improved in the Golden Rose in the worst part of the track. And, he wins the Stut Stakes. And maybe, Terry, he might be a key factor in a Cox Plate. The 3-year-olds recently have got a fantastic record.
Yeah, on the back of Piero and Divine Calling. Good. Almalad, that's in now to the Guineas, and then hopefully for it into a Cox Plate, already being a Group 1 winner in the last year. But Shark, I'm not sure what we learned here. Zebulon untested, Chivalry at the back, and that's not the best of him. Well done to Almalad. Yeah. He was best placed to go on with it.
Well, at face value of the result, Bruce, you've got Almalad and Kamayon running 1-3 coming through the Golden Rose, a race that, jury was out on a little bit in terms of its strength. But we're starting to see the form really stand up now with Shooting to Win coming out and running so well yesterday in Sydney as well. So that's face value look at the race. Going back through it, got to question the depth of the field here, I think, in the Stut Stakes. The best Victorian colt, Chivalry, got stuck behind 2 slow ones for about the last 500 metres of the race and never really got a chance to get out of there. And Chivalry really could match Almalad going forward. And not doubting the strength of the Golden Rose historically, but this year, there were some questions, I guess, but we wanted to see the form stand up. There were some unlucky runs in the race. And we get to test the form again today. Bring Me the Maid, who I guess was the horse mentioned most out of that Golden Rose as being unlucky, goes around in the Guineas Pro, 1,000 Guineas Pro.
Well, look, I still... This is a pretty good horse. He resumed without a trial, Almalad, and then he was rushed into the Golden Rose. I think the timing's right for him to really perform in Victoria, and he started off with a bang here with a very, very strong win. It looks a wishy-washy, messy race. A lot of horses found trouble here. It was a funnily run race. But I think when we just sit back and assess everything, he was fairly dominant, Almalad, and I think he has some upside, Richard.
Oh, yeah, I think he'll go on and do the job in Victoria now. Be very competitive in a Caulfield Guineas. Look, I thought the ride was brilliant from Tommy Berry. He got the horse in exactly the right spot. The horse was good enough to be there. I look, take him back to Moonee Valley, ride him a bit more aggressively, and I think that's the way his preparation will go. I couldn't see much else in the race that I was taking a lot of heart out of. Those two I thought were pretty good runs, the winner and Chivalry.
6 minutes away from start time, where Diamond Valores, 2.20 out to 2.30. Swainess, $2.80 into 2.70, then back out to $2.80. Poonamoo.
They stand well, and they're often racing. In the main, a pretty good dispatch. Poonamoo from gate number 2, probably the best out. Diamond Valora is starting to roll forward. Swainess is going to let them go and cross behind them. He'll end up at the back and jewel. And Swainess has got to come from last if he's going to win the gloaming here. He's still about 5 lengths off the lead. They're heading up to the 650. Lord Beckworth in front. Diamond Valora is now starting to come up and pour the pressure on. Poonamoo's directly behind it, followed by Road to Shangri-La. Swainess is still at the back with Forbidden Jewel. They turn for home, and Diamond Valores went up and put his head in front. Poonamoo's coming after him on the outside. They got the better of Lord Beckworth. Swainess is starting to run. Diamond Valores had a kick, though, at the 300. Down the outside, Swainess is going after him. And then Poonamoo. It's Diamond Valores in front, but Swainess is sprinting up fast on the outside. The unbeaten colt has hit the front from Diamond Valores. And it's Swainess in front, punched out by McAvoy. He remains undefeated and goes down to beat Diamond Valores, followed by Poonamoo, and then further back Forbidden Jewel. At the head of the others, Road to Shangri-La, and a long last was Lord Beckworth.
Well, for those who thought that Swainess was lucky to beat Poonamoo at Newcastle, I don't know that we have the same thoughts now. He toyed with him this afternoon. Number 2, Swainess.
Yeah.
Just beautifully. So I stepped in high, and it's actually my first winner for the team. So hopefully he continues on his merry way, because we're very happy with him.
Followed by Poonamoo.
He's got to win the Spring Champion and get himself even into this massive logjam of contenders for the Cox Plate. People, there's a horseman. Looking at him, you'd know this pretty well. Lonrose Swan.
He seems to just go through his gears gradually, and he picks up and travels before you really got to ask him for an effort.
Yeah, I've seen his last 2 starts now. I've watched him, and just how much it will be there when Karen gets at him, you yet to find out.
4 starts, 4 wins. This is the horse that won the Spring Stakes up at Newcastle 2 weeks ago.
Really like this horse. He's just a little professional. Hasn't got any race speed, but I like the way he chases, and he can round them. Every start he's had, he's just rounded them up, and then he just floats. And once he's got the job done, he doesn't win by big margins. Yeah, look, I reckon he's exciting. Nice horse, laid-back character. Can go to the Champion Stakes now with Blake Shin aboard, I'm hearing, because
yeah, that's correct.
Because Karen's got to go to Melbourne. Diamond Valores was very good. This is his first racing preparation, Diamond Valores, so he'll go for a spell now and come back a much better horse in the autumn.
This is the first leg of the quaddie. It's the Stanfox Stakes, a Group 2 level over the 1,500 metres, and a very smart group of 3-year-old colts to go around here. Is it a race in 2? Punters think it may well be. Scissor Kick is the favourite. Shooting to Win next best, and then Valentia at the $5. Back into
and they're off. Shooting to Win missed the start. He came out at the rear of the field, and he's just working through to be in front of 2 horses now. Valentia beat them out. Leads from Scissor Kick and Modoc on the inside from Scratch Me Lucky. Shooting to Win continues to improve. He gets up to 5th in the middle side, and at the moment he's being pushed a little bit wide there. Modoc came off the fence, and Scissor Kicks ended up 3 deep. Shooting to Win's now gone right up along the inside, and Scratch Me Lucky in the centre. So the brakes didn't go the favourite's way there around that first bend. Followed by Backman, Award of Merit, and Volley of Fire at the rear of the field. It's Valentia slowing them up. Leads by a long neck to a half a length on Modoc. Scissor Kick doing it tough on the outer. Then Shooting to Win. Scratch Me Lucky. Award of Merit next from Backman and Volley of Fire. 5 lengths covers them as they round the home turn now with about 450 to run. And it's Valentia from Modoc. Scissor Kick challenging on the outside. Shooting to Win will get the rails run here as the leaders left the fence. And then further back, Scratch Me Lucky. It's Valentia in front. Scissor Kicks immediately under the whip. Shooting to Win on the inside. And then further back, Volley of Fire. Valentia Valenia's in front, but Shooting to Win's grabbed it. He's hit the front now, Shooting to Win. He's sprinted away. And then Valentia and Scissor Kick and Shooting to Win's going to be too good. Overcomes that slow start. Scissor Kick might get second from Valentia. And then came Backman, followed further back in behind him as they crossed the line. Volley of Fire. Scratch Me Lucky Modoc, an award of merit.
Well, number 4, Shooting to Win. He wins dominantly. Missing the start was the greatest bonus for him in the whole race. He got into a lovely...
Just the whole game, but ended up getting a lovely run. I think just fell his way today, but gee, he was very dominant at the end. He quickened really nice and kept quickening right through the line, so it was great to see. And it's what I wanted to see too, because he's always showed us plenty.
Race like last night, you see Almalad beat a few of the Victorian 3-year-olds. That give you that little bit of confidence as well?
Oh yeah, like his run was good here too, Almalad. They finished we only beat Nose for 4th, so he'll be right there. And he's a horse that's still improving, but this fella's such a tough horse it's got untapped ability. So we'll see what happens.
What mate?
Might get second from Valentia.
Well, wasn't he good late there, Shooting to Win, running through the line there at the end of 1,500 in the Stan Fox. He's a brother to the super prospect in Deep Field, who we'll discuss later, cost 100.
We know the Scissor Kick had done it tough, but you also had to come from a mile back. Being that 4 or 5 lengths closer to him, big difference.
Made a big difference yesterday. But wasn't our plan to be back there. We wanted to be positive and be in the first 2 or 3 on jumping, but dwelled a fraction and then got squeezed. But as luck happened, with what happened during the race, he ended up being in a good spot, and he was smoking come the corner. And I thought that if he didn't really unleash what we've been seeing at home yesterday, he was never going to do it. Well, that's the thing. He has same yesterday, but looking to start head on, he just got a bit of a squeeze, being a neck slow and got a squeeze, and he's back there in that spot.
You must have blinked and thought to myself, well, this can't be happening. Scissor Kicks ended up 3 wide and you've gone to 4th on the rail.
Look, for about a tenth of a second, I felt sorry for him. but gee, what a brave run it was in the Golden Rose, that horse. That I thought my bloke went to...
It's a terrific lineup this year. Long John Helmet, those sort of...
He's seen what he could do. The best out.
Watch his go, Pete. Is he more of a 14 miler?
I think a mile. I think a race at the Doncaster is perfect for him. That's what I'm firmly believe that's the race that he can truly win.
Kick, which he's done a couple of times, Ron, but he was still too good. He was a dominant winner there.
He's a very, very good colt, and he's right up there with the best of them. I think the dry track was the key to him yesterday. I don't think he's as comfortable on wet tracks, and he got a real hard track there yesterday and really got the job done in fine style. He's look, he's got this that is a bad habit, especially when you get to Group 1 racing, of missing the start. And it's a couple of times now. He did in the Golden Rose. So, you know, when you get in big fields, it can be very, very dangerous. Scissor Kick, well, what can you say? He got shoved 3 deep again there yesterday and probably had excuses. Although I still feel that winner was very dominant there. I don't know whether that made any difference as far as the results concerned. Valencia's battled on.
At Rosehill Gardens, this is the Group 2 Shannon Stakes over the 1,500 metres. For these horses looking to make their way into an Epsom handicap, and it's a big field to get to. Rock Sturdy, beaten last week. He can make amends here. He's there at $3.80. Excess Knowledge.
Red light is on. Ninth Legion with the best 2 into stride. Ninth Legion's got his head in front in the first 100. Then Epic followed by Jet Set Lad, tougher than ever. Rocksterd crosses last of all. 700 out. Jet Set Lad gets his own way in front today. Leading out a length on Ninth Legion, tougher than ever, Liberty's Choice. Then Rocksturdy, Excess Knowledge still covering ground. Epic's in the middle, followed by Kiramosa, Best Case and Zephron. Rugged Cross taking off from the back, but he'll be pushed wide. And well back, Mr. Chart and Midsummer Sun. They turn for home, and it's Jet Set Lad heading up for the judge in front. Leads from Ninth Legion on the outside. Liberty's Choice, tougher than ever next. Followed by Rocksturdy, who's starting to make his move down the centre with Excess Knowledge. Jet Set Lad found nothing. And Ninth Legion and Liberty's Choice hit the lead, but Rocksturdy's starting to breathe down their neck. And then tougher than ever. Rocksturdy moves up on the outside. He sprints today, kicks away. Rocksturdy, beautiful ride. He goes on to win it. Photo for second and third. Ninth Legion or Liberty's Choice. Best Case flashed home late. Then came Kiramosa.
Number 7, Rocksturdy, got a peach of a ride, got off at the right time for Corey Brown. He got a winner last week for Joe Pride in
Sky might be the limit.
Yeah, look, definitely. He's just gone through the grades nicely.
Kilos next week in the Epsom Ridge, backing up 3 weeks in a row.
Yeah, look, he's a tough horse, a big, strong horse, and I think Mark said it with cover. Look, I thought Ninth Legion, Liberty's Choice, they both get heated, but there was a protest, Liberty's Choice against Ninth Legion, which was upheld, but Best Case was terrific from the back. Excess Knowledge had to do a stack of work deep and come off that little bit of a break. But the winner was good. an Epsom handicap, it's another step from there. But no weight on its back, Mark.
Bears taking centre stage for the 7th race on the program. This is the PJ's Irish Pub Golden Pendant, Group 3 level, and we have a short price favourite in the shape of Catkin. She's a ripper, 12 minutes out from start time, and she's a $1.50 favourite. Nina Rock next best at $9. 3 Golden Pendant. Rich, we might head to you for any
out to 150. Maya Mira's at 31. Stony and Printer, and it's the speed of the race.
Pro missed it. Favourite began brilliantly. Catkin, she sprung out. She's already a length and a half in front. Mysabelle running up to second. I'm in the money, and Lorna May hopped out okay. Gold Epona is pressing forward from a wide alley. And then further back in behind them, Fine Bubbles, Arabian Gold, Stoner Princess. Chintz is behind them next, followed by Nina Rock. And then Saintly Pro and Maya Mira last of all. So he's handed up here on Catkins. And Gold Epona pressed on and went to the lead. Leads by 2 and Lorna May. Catkins third, Mysabelle next. It's trapped a little bit deep by the looks of it. I'm in the money in the centre. And Arabian Gold's latched onto the back of Catkins. And then further back, Fine Bubbles, followed by Chintz and Estonian Princess, Nina Rock, Saintly Pro. And last is Maya Mira. 600 out, and the leader as they come up to the turn, Gold Epona, leads from Lorna May, Mysabelle. Catkins is directly behind the leader on the rail, and Arabian Gold following it from I'm in the money. As they turn for home now, there's plenty of room for Catkins as the leader sprinted off the bend. Gold Epona got a length and a half in front. Catkins is trying to force out Mysabelle and Lorna May next. Then Arabian Gold behind that line, followed by Fine Bubbles. He's had to get busy here with Catkins. It's hit the front. Arabian Gold about to come through on the inside. Fine Bubbles and Mysabelle. Arabian Gold is coming at Catkins. Arabian Gold along the fence. Arabian Gold has upset the odds on favourite Catkins. Mysabelle third. And then came in behind them Nina Rock, followed by Fine.
It's a long way to a WS Cox plate, but I tell you what, she's got the first hurdle over and done with. She's won the Golden Pendant, and she's upset a pretty handy mare called Catkins. Number 2, Arabian Gold for Nick Moratis, the might and power of Famous Colours, and David Van Dyke Blake.
To us, bring me back in, I want more, and she's 20 kilos heavier, and it's just fantastic. I mean, it's been such
a terrific win. She is a good mare, and she nailed a very good one in Catkins. No excuse for mine there for Catkins, Rich.
No, look, there's not. I still think she's certainly capable. She's put in a couple for her.
Grey mare, Arabian Gold, first up since the Queensland Oaks, and a lovely ride by Blake Shin too.
Yeah, he had the barrier to ride her well, but he capitalised on that, and he found Catkins back here. It was the perfect place to be. She's a mare that's usually taken a run or two to come to hand, but I see David resumed her at 1400 yesterday, and that was the secret. She go to the Toorak now. It won't be an easy race to win, but the timing's right with her because she's early in her preparation and she's ready for a big spring. I thought it disappointing, the favourite, Catkins. She was there to pounce and didn't accelerate like she can. Mysabelle, well, she is low.
Favourite spring with a mate, pretty easy. Best back to beat it is Traviston Girl down from Queensland. Fleet of Spree going for 3 in a row. This is the Schweppes 1,000 guineas prelude.
Yeah, look, he was extremely confident. You'd love that if you had the wallet or the purse out when you were hearing that sort of thing.
They're away now. And she jumps in about the middle of the bunch and then eases back towards the tail. Does Bring Me the Maid, and Traviston Girl, the second favourite, pings away quickly and finds the lead early ahead of Amy, and Novel Dancer settled third. And a Fleet of Spree gets in a nice place, fourth over on the inside with Amicus improving deep out. They're followed by Bring Me the Maid. She's a length in front of Pick and Time, Sabatini and Go Indigo. Below the 1,000, Traviston Girl leading narrowly. Amicus on a deep move around the outside, scoots up and goes to the front now. And Amy's a length away, third as they come up the side, 2 in front, then to a Fleet of Spree. A Nick Novel Dancer, 800 left to go. 1.5 Sabatini, who's over on the inside. Bring Me the Maids in the centre as they race up the side of the course. And on the outside there is Pick and Time and 2 lengths to go Indigo at the 600. And the leader is Traviston Girl narrowly from Amicus on the outside, a length and a half to Amy, and a Fleet of Spree's had a beautiful run. Then Sabatini, Novel Dancer. Bring Me the Maid awkwardly placed. Nolan pushing and urging her with Pick and Time on the outside, and then Go Indigo. They corner Traviston Girl in front of Amicus into the straight. A Fleet of Spree trying for an out. Novel Dancer was next. Still well back by the 200 metres is Bring Me the Maid. And it's Amicus racing up with a Fleet Esprit who got the split. A Fleet Esprit race to the lead with 100 to go from Amicus. Good battle for third. Go Indigo coming home, but a Fleet Esprit, she knows how to win. Beats Amicus. Photo for third. Go Indigo wide out and Traviston Girl ahead of Sabatini. And just behind those to finish in the race, Pick and Chime. And then came Bring Me the Maid. She never really got into the race at all. Novel Dancer second last, and Amy was last home.
Well, hasn't she been the improved surprise packet of the fillies, and lines up for Irish Lights and Miss Finland to go back-to-back in this race for David Hayes and Lindsay Park. Sure, had the sweet run, was able to use a good barrier one, box seat and pretty soft. Amicus goes back, love to see that.
Probably in the middle of them. I'd say she's pretty good, a bit early probably to put her in the class of maybe Miss Finland, but I think she'd hold her own against most Steelers.
Dave, well done. Run up the straight at Flemington, and of course his form's around Almalad at a mile, so expecting big things here.
Look, you can argue very strongly he wins that race with even luck. That Group 1 I'm talking about up north behind Almalad, who's just won the Scared Stiff of him and made him danger. Awesome Rock out to 1400 chance, and Armada, the 16, as I say, perhaps the best.
The Richie's Bickies, but rich enough there you can see. Top mark of 460, now into 380, so it continues to pour in. Terrific race this, the Beck Caulfield Guineas Prelude. Let's go to Greg Miles.
Will be set. Light blinking away, starter on the ladder. And they're ready to go. And they're off. And our Vespa jumps pretty well. Gibberline slow from the outside. Rich Enough began fast, and so did Lucky Tom, and Liberation away very quickly as they run through the first part of the race with Armada up there also. Settling down now, and it's our Vespa pushing up, but can't hold Liberation, who pressed on with a slender lead. Armada's there, and Rich Enough about 3 wide going on. Lucky Tom in behind them. Soldi Amati's got over next over on the outside. They're being followed 2 lengths away by Looks Like the Caddies midfield on the outside, and then came Moonlight Hustler. About a length further back is Convincible. Awesome Rock a good way back on the inside at the 800, followed by Stingray and Wanginus together at the rear in company with Gibberlines. So it's Liberation, the leader, tough enough. He'd done a bit of work, but he's up within the length of the leader now. Our Vespa's third on the inside, a half 2 on the outside. Next is Armada. They're 2 lengths further back to Soldi Damati, who's covering up Lucky Tom, and then came Looks Like the Caddy's got 7 to make up, and then Convincible and Moonlight Hustler, and Awesome Rock's got away from the rail as they swing around the turn. And it's Liberation first for home, with Rich Enough coming at it strongly on the outside, and then Armada. Our Vespa's getting up on the inside. Looks like the Cat a fair bit to do, and Rich Enough doubled away now past the 200. He's opened up 3 lengths on them. He's away and he's gone. Rich Enough racing away. Looks like the Cat getting into second placing. Rich Enough has put in by 2 lengths. Looks like the Cat second and getting up for third. Awesome Rock. Wangina ran on strongly today, and then came Armada, followed by our Vespa. Back behind them, Soldi Damati, followed by Stingray, Lucky Tom. Well back is Convincible. Moonlight Hustler. Gibberlines towards the tail of the field in company with Liberation.
Wow, what a star. Rich Enough. Worked up early, worked up the hill, but just travelled on beautifully on Michael Rod's long rein here. We let him go all over. Looks like the Cat runs on again. This market for the Guineas getting another reshape here, but that was great. Great weekend for Kenny Keys. Well done to him. Rich Enough here, basically. That's 6 lengths quicker than the girls.
Yeah, superstar. Sits up second. He does a bit of work into the breeze from that awkward gate. Just farted away from them. As soon as they straightened, he put a gap on a real quality group of males and race over. Looks like the Cat runs on well into them. From where I could see, you're wide. Did work. He's a serious horse, this.
Yeah, Sammy, that was breathtaking. Began brilliant, but had a lot of horses kicking up underneath us, and I had to do a fair bit of work to get there. But what I really like about it is that he completely switched off. He's happy with Tommy leading the way, and I was sort of a length off him and did not touch the bridle at all. So, it's great going forward to the Guineas. Straightening up, he just quickens. He just finds 4 or 5 lengths very quickly and holds them. He's
That's exciting for you, but exciting for us as fans of the sport.
Very scary. This is dead right. Gee whiz, I really don't know what to say. What you saw is real, and I think he's going to I don't mean improved, but he's still not there yet as a racehorse. He's still a big baby.
Even that performance.
Well, even though there was quite close last start, we felt we got to the front too quick, and he was left and wait.
In his home state, Richard. The other one, Rich Enough, won the Guineas Prelude. This has been a real find, this horse. Every time they step him up in class a bit, he keeps answering.
His form is so frank now with Brazen Bay going so well in Sydney as well. This horse just keeps climbing the ladder. Every time they put the bar up, he jumps it. And I don't know quite how far he goes. He looks like a genuine sprinter to me. But as a 3-year-old, he might go the mile, he might go a little bit further. This is just a crushing. It looks like the cat, I think, is a really good 3-year-old, but this horse just they put a clinic on.
Could he be one of these freaks that wins the Guineas and comes back and wins the Coolmore?
Could.
Can't say no, can you?
What you're saying he's like a mahogany type.
Yeah. Look at him, $2.60 there at the moment in the Guineas market.
Well, from what we've seen so far, he's probably deservedly so.
It is, Rich. Thanks very much for that, Rich. The Group 1, Sarupa Clark, Bendigo Bank Charity Cup. And she had some spectacular action already in the preludes for the girls and the boys to the Guineas. But in this, it's an old-fashioned handicap with Dissident, the big star of the race, with 58 kilos. And they don't carry that very often to win this race. You've got to go back a long time, and Trust in the Gus down near the minimum here, the favourite at $6.50. What a race.
To 58. Sistine Demon goes in. Bull Point and Cluster in the wider quaddy. 13.
And caught them in a beautiful line. Atlante drifting back soon after the start. Sweet Idea and Dissidence right up there on the speed. And the time for Julia settling down in third on the inside. Sistine Demon pressed on, moved up into second, placing behind Sweet Idea. And Trusted August had gone up on the outside, and he's third. And they're followed then by a time for Julia, who's now fourth on the inside of Dissident. 3 lengths away then came Late Charge, Akavura, and 2.5 lengths away is Speedness, moving up 3 deep around Bull Point and Rhythm Despair. 3 Alma's Fury, Gig Atlante a long way back and Clusters last. By the 800 metres, Sistine Demon had taken over the running by a length and a half. Trust in Augusta's second. Sweet Idea is third, box seating now. Dissident fourth, the outside, followed by a time for Julia. Late Charge, a length and a half to Bull Point, Akavurin and Rhythm to spare the rail. 2 Atalante as they near the home turn, followed by Speediness. And well back as they sweep the turn as Gig, and then Elmer's Fury and Cluster into the straight, and it's Sistine Demon, the leader from Trust in Augusta, first to throw out the challenge. And running on now, Dissident, and here comes Late Charge in the line blinkers. Sweet Idea looking for the way clear. Trust in Augusta broke to the lead at the 200. Dissident started to warm to the task. Bull Point, Akavurin coming, and Sweet Idea getting up on the inside. Dissident race to Trust in Augusta. 50 to go. Dissident takes the lead. He wants to lay in. Trust in Augusta kicks back. A photo finish between Dissident and Trust in Augusta. A bob and go. Who got the bob? Bull Point charges home and grabs third, just ahead of Cluster, who ran on well. And Sweet Idea the inside. Atalante made ground along the fence, followed by Late Charge. A time for Julia. Rhythm to spare. Sistine Demon, Akavurin, Gig. Elmer's Fury back towards the end of the field with Speediness.
And it's Trust in Augusta, the winner, horse number 13. It's a first Group 1 in Victoria for Darren Weir and a first Group 1 here for Damien Lane. What a try this horse is. Okay, he's got 6 kilos off the very brave Dissident here, who's tried so hard with the big weight and laid in on top of him here. He has on the Caulfield Stakes in great form, but what a horse this is. What a story he is, Trust in Augusta, for Victorian breeding and racing, the Voba schemes. Positive early was D Lane, and he gets a...
Sam, I've never been so happy to see you. He gave you a sweet ride. You sat on speed, sitting second. Yeah, he worried me a little bit early. He didn't muster. Quite as good as I'd hoped, and I actually got him over race a little bit, trying to get in there, and to his credit, he's a winner, and that's what he done. Full credit to
Jay Weary, but a Group 1 in Victoria, a long time coming for you, but your first Group 1 here. What a thrill with this horse.
Yeah, it has been, Bruce. It's been a while coming, but no, he's just a great racehorse. You know, he actually got headed and fought back and just stuck his head out at the right time. It's a great thrill. They're a great bunch of people, and he's a great little trier.
Take us back to those early days of this horse. Bought for $45,000. Did you have buyers for him, or just stable mates, or what?
No, we had no one for it. John Foote picked him out, and I sort of liked him at the sales as well. And also Jeremy, my mate, he liked him up at the Swettenham Stud Parade. So he ticked a few of the boxes, and
Caulfield last Sunday, of course. One of them was the Sir Rupert Clarke Stakes, taken out by Trust in a Gust. Damien Lane on board for Darren Weir. Dissident was in this race as well, of course. He was coming back in distance and ran second.
And he had to give him a bit of weight as well. But look, he's been very good this preparation. Trust in a Gust. He was well ridden by Damien Lane and got the job done from Dissident, who was only a bob of the head that went against him here. This is a good race. I love the run of a Bull Point. There's a race. I keep saying there's a race for him. I don't know what it is, whether it's the mile at the end of the carnival. I'm not sure. Cluster had no luck. The other 4-year-old steaming home there through the middle. But all in all honest with the winner, he's done a great job, and congratulations to Darren Weir, because that's his first Group 1 winner in Melbourne.
And
you know, I think they're a bit of a tactical battle again. Headwind, small field. You know, the chances are probably backmarkers, so you never know.
And the unbeaten colt in Hallowed Crown is the $2.40 favourite. Let's have a look at the runners in the mounting yard. He's won 4 from 4. He's the son of Street Sense.
Well, he's a good colt. There's no doubt about that, this galloper, Hallowed Crown. And look, it's not easy, though. 1,400 back to 12. He's had 3 weeks break. The bet here, Jason, is number 3, Brazen Bow.
Money coming for Chris Waller, number 3, Break.
Great spring back and a good start by Hallowed Crown, who probably came out about a half a length behind them. Time for War jumped well and shows out from the stablemate Clamour in the first couple of 100 metres. Brazen Bow drops into a lovely trailing position in the early stages of the race, followed by Nostradamus, Hallowed Crown and Delectation last of all. Time for War is a bit fresh in front. He's getting the head up and he's pulling hard, and he leads from Clamour and Brazen Bow. Hallowed Crown was next, and then further back Nostradamus. He got just shuffled back there a little bit as Brazen Bow came back on top of him, and Delectation is starting to whip around the outside when the pace slowed. So Delectation has gone up to join Time for War. Clamour was next from Brazen Bow. Hallowed Crown is pinned up against the rail, and Nostradamus on the outside. Delectation put his head in front as they turned for home. Leads narrowly from Time for War. Then Brazen Bow on the outside, followed by Hallowed Crown. He'll have to pull the rabbit out of the hat back on the fence there. And then Clamour and Nostradamus. Brazen Bow strode up. Brazen Bow took the lead and it's kicked away from Delectation. Nostradamus, but Brazen Bow is clear, and Brazen Bow has won it from Nostradamus, Delectation and Hallowed Crown. And then came further back in behind them Time for War, and Clamour has finished last of all.
The Magic Man, Joe Moreira, makes it a double. Chris Waller gets his first of the day. Number 3, Brazen Bow. Oh, he was electric.
Nice and kind during the race for me. And when I put him on the pressure, on the straight, he just gave me everything he's got. Lovely horse. And I'm very proud to be his jockey today.
Chris Waller trains first and third.
Well, first of all, congratulations for enticing you and the owners of He's Your Man.
No, it was certainly a winning move, I guess.
Bow, valuable horse he is now by I'm Invincible. Out of that race, apart from Brazen Bow, of course, Hallowed Crown race had a post-race slow recovery. Obviously, all not right on the day with the fave.
No, there's certainly they got to look. It had plenty of opportunity. Huey went back to save the ground. The gap come at the right time. I said in the morning I thought he was probably
those tracks dry out almost too much. And
Thank you, Dermot.
I think he felt the track. Now, for the curators and racing's benefit, why not everybody get together, have a discussion? They've got some smart people down there. Work it out instead of arguing every week. You can't have jockeys coming in and saying the tracks are too hard. Again, for the punter, your horse is going to go a lot worse if the track's too firm. Obviously, there was pressure saying they were, and the best for racing is as simple as that. One last thing. Change dead 4 to a good 4. It's a bad perception that it's called a dead 4.
It's going to. Yep, that's happening December 1.
This is also the race that Hallowed Crown was in. Gee, what did you make of Hallowed Crown? I thought he might run a bit better.
Yeah, look, he was disappointing, wasn't he? You're talking about an unbeaten horse who was favourite. He'd had a little hiccup coming into the race. They say there was a cough, but they scoped him and everything was okay. But look, this is a hot field. There's some very classy colts here, none more so than the winner, Brazen Bow. I think we had to be forgiving for his first up run down the straight behind Rich Enough. He was too aggressive that day, back to his best here. He was always in control of this race. And there's a classic example of Joe getting down low here that Richard was talking about. A fairly dominant win in, I say, a high-quality race. Nostradamus back to 1,200 was good. And I think Delectation is an underrated horse who took off early in that race, and he had to, the way he was behaving. He could upset at his next start in good company.
2:20 into 2:15. Say that again, Sean. Okay, thank you, mate. So it is number 2, Moriarty's the market mover. Moriarty, the market mover. Moriarty, the market.
Rising Romance jumped brilliantly from the inside, and she'll take up the running in the first 100 metres and leads from Danchai and Canny Ballad, slow pace on the outside. And then came Villanova, and Moriarty went straight back to the rear. Backing them. It looks like he's going to press on Canny Ballad to try and beat the others off, but it's Canny Ballad out 3 wide, taking over from Danchai. Rising Romance just sitting off them in third spot. 2 lengths to slow pace, followed by Villanova, and Moriarty is still last. It's Canny Ballad finding the rail. Rising Romance went up now in chase of it and is about 3/4 of a length away. Danchai is third. Slow pace was next. Moriarty pulled to the outside. It's starting to move into it. And then Villanova. It's Canny Ballad and Rising Romance. Rising Romance sprinted now. Moriarty's coming down the outside. Shin asked Moriarty for the effort as Rising Romance kicked on the inside. Rising Romance in front. Moriarty breathes down its neck. Comes at it hard. Moriarty levels up on the outside. It's going to be a head bobber. Moriarty or Rising Romance. Villanova third, then slow pace, followed by Canny Ballad, and Danchai has finished last of all.
Very, very close, but it looks like the market move on the. He'll get the bob. It looks like Moriarty. Very close. 2 and 7, 7 and 2. Beats number 7, Rising Romance, and 6 Villanova. Just the way the race panned out, and he's a far better horse ridden cold.
Yeah, sweet ride by Blake in the description ball winner with Chris Waller. That is
Full Cup start there if you want it. Moriarty, Rising Romance high up in the markets for the Caulfield Cup. Blake, you seem to saunter into the race with plenty of horse to give there.
Yeah, most certainly did, Bruce. He's a horse that really appreciates, you're riding him with confidence, and I think he gains confidence when you ride him like that. And Chris gave me those instructions just to go back to basics with him and ride him quiet.
Here's the bloodstock.com.au Premier Stakes, where the Group 1 sprinter, Famous Seamus, is the favourite, and it's being supported. 250 top fluctuation, no longer available into the mounting yard. To have a look at the runners.
Stages, Charlie Boyd ridden aggressively up along the inside. Will head him off after 100 Dale. And then came further back Famous Seamus on the outside from I've Got the Looks. Wouldn't it be nice? General Leaf is back second last, and Scorpio Queen is last of all. Charlie Boy in front and leads by a half a length on Sincero. The pace is moderate. Famous Seamus is 3 wide and he's got no cover, followed by I've Got the Looks, and then Wouldn't It Be Nice in the centre, followed by General Leaf. He's a little bit awkwardly placed over on the fence, and Scorpio Queen. Charlie Boy led from Sincero. Famous Seamus has sat wide, but they've gone slow. And then came I've Got the Looks over on the rail, followed by Wouldn't It Be Nice, General Leaf still in an awkward spot, and Scorpio Queen. They turn and Charlie Boy led a length and a half. As they top the rise, Famous Seamus coming up on the outside. I've Got the Looks getting a rails run, then Sincero. General Leaf has got absolutely nowhere to go. It's Charlie Boy just in front from Famous Seamus. Wouldn't it be nice? General Leaf climbing over their backs. It's Charlie Boy and Famous Seamus. Famous Seamus gets his head in front and beat Charlie Boy. Wouldn't it be nice? And a horror story if you're on General Leaf, he hasn't got out yet. Followed by I've Got the Look, Scorpio Queen, and last of all was Sincero.
Number 2, Famous Seamus gets the money. Tim Clark for Noel Mayfield Smith had to cover ground.
Race day at the trials, and they do a fantastic job.
A little fellow there might have had something on General Leaf, eh? Is that
Bruce, he's
correct?
been going on for 2.5 hours.
Bruce, I'll say something. I was absolutely that excited for Noel Mayfield Smith and Timmy Clark. And look, Famous Seamus is a better horse ridden cold off a good speed and run an unbelievable sectional. Yesterday, he had to tough it out, and it was a good ride, Tim Clark. You don't have to be Albert Einstein to say that, yes, I back General Leaf, and, my kid's elite next month.
Good day for you, Blake, yesterday. You're in Sydney next.
Race, wasn't it? Tim Clark probably did the right thing on Famous Seamus, bringing him 3 deep and riding a bit of an ugly race because...
there was no pace for the sprint race. There was no pace
in a lot of races there yesterday. Look at this. I have to give Sam Clipperton a pat on the back here, even though he got suspended later in the day. He's in the Paul Perry colours, the yellow and black, and the Godolphin horse inside him, General Leaf, who should have won this race by a country mile. Very, very competitive riding by Sam.
The elbow out.
Well, he's not putting the elbow out. The other horse is trying to shove him out.
He's pushed the other horse's head away.
I think that's a fantastic ride from a young man who's riding well to do that. And he rode a winner for Godolphin earlier in the day. trainers, owners, and punters.
James McDonald was first of the Group 1s on Super Saturday at Randwick, is the Star Epsom handicap. A terrific race over the Classic Mile here at Randwick and into the mounting yard to have a look at the runners. And we start with the defending champion. Well, he's got 58 kilos this year. We've got to go all the way back to the mighty Superimpose to carry that much weight and win an Epsom. And Glyn Schofield's in the saddle.
It'd be 50. Royal Descent the same, 7 to 650. Toy Dini, 550 into 5. Laser Hawks had good support, 12 into 10. Star Rolling the Melbourne Visitor at $15. The best backed is He's Your Man, 6 into 550. Honorius 100 to 1. 26 into $17 Hook. 9th Legion $10. 41 Lucky Chappie, 91 to 61. Number 6, He's Your Man. He's the market mover. The Group 1, the feature of Sydney's Spring Carnival. The Star Group 1 Epsom Handicap. Here's Mark.
And they're off and racing. Jet Set Lad missed the start. So did Star Rolling. And jumping out quite well, 9th Legion with Woodbine and Fade On. They're in the first 3 early on. Laser Hawk was next, followed by Hooked Out Wide. Royal Descent is going forward. She'll settle just on the back of the speed. Followed in behind them by Liberty's Choice. Then came He's Your Man, followed by Lucky Chappie, Honorius and Boban. He's very wide on He's Your Man. Then further back in behind them, Jet Set Lad, as they near that first bend from Star Rolling. Toy Dini is second last, and last is Spider Coda. Fade On led by a half a length. Woodbine, 9th Legion, third. Laser Hawk is fourth. Then Liberty's Choice, followed by Hooked, who can't get on the track. Royal Descent's in the centre. Boban midfield on the rail. Lucky Chappie is wider out, followed by Honorius. He's Your Man is still racing a little bit wide, but he looks like he's got a trail. And then Jet Set Lad, Toy Dini, Star Rolling, and Spider Coda racing greenly at the back of the field. 600 out at Fade On in front. Leads from Woodbine. Hooked has had a torrid run. He's coming up around the outside with Laser Hawk. They're 3 and 4 wide, followed by 9th Legion. Royal Descent sits on the back of the leaders as they turn from Lucky Chappie. And He's Your Man is further back. Hooked to the outside. It's Fade On in front. Hooked is charging up on the outside, followed by Royal Descent. Liberty's Choice is trying to get through in the middle, so is Boban. He's Your Man is down the outside. 9th Legion getting a rails run. It's Royal Descent putting ahead in front. He's Your Man is coming after it. Royal Descent a half in front. He's Your Man lunging on the outside. Very tight. He's Your Man a Royal Descent. Tight finish. Hooks in a photo for third with Honorius, Fade On and 9th Legion. Then Woodbine, Liberty's Choice, Star Rolling, followed by Jet Set.
6, He's Your Man. 6, He's Your Man on the outside. Royal Descent, very, very close. Chris Waller trained the first 4 in the Doncaster. He's looking for the Quinella, and he'll get it. But which way? Royal Descent, He's Your Man. Oh, very, very close. There's no doubt He's Your Man was in front, and then the bob comes back the other way.
Outside.
Is it, you sure?
Oh, I'm not sure.
6 wins. Number
6 wins.
He's Your Man gets the bickies. Jaso, He's Your Man.
He nailed him right on the line. He's Your Man. It's the Magic Man.
Well, Joe, I just said, you've done it, brother. Well done.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much.
Group 1 in Australia, how does it feel?
Feel great, man. Lovely horse. Such a great people that invited me to get here, special for this horse. And we've done it. The field couldn't be any better.
It's not the Metro. The horses ran very well. Come on, stick with me, big fella. Come on. Come on, stick with it. And the decision to bring Joe Moreira back, it was Richard Peagam, the owners of this galloper, and yourself get together, and it just reward.
Yeah, it was. I've always maintained you got to use the jockeys in form. And there were some great jockeys to choose from, and for whatever reason, we chose Joe.
Ramrick Mile and Chris Waller, they seem to be a happy marriage.
It's been pretty good to me.
It certainly. And what about the mare?
Chris Waller 1-2, back to back in the Epsom.
Can't be afraid to change course, and you can't be afraid to back your own judgment as well.
What goes through your mind, Chris? They're going to the line. Royal Descent, who's been so good to the stable, she's on towards a Cox Plate tilt, and we'll find out where the other one's going in a moment. What do you think when they hit the line?
It's not a big problem.
Just getting it.
It's got the same percentage.
See one of them and kept them on forward momentum, and
Close but no cigar. All credit the winner with the pulling the weights was too good, but my word, she was galloting defeat. That if those showers came yesterday that were predicted, might have been a different result, but here's what it is.
Massive run. It's unfortunate about the barrier, but did my best to get in, and unfortunately it wasn't meant to be. But
Your man, Joe Moreira and Chris Waller. He'd won the Kingston Town Stakes at his previous start, over 1,900 metres there at Rose Hill, but Chris Waller had him spot on for the mile. Royal Descent runner-up in that very tight finish. She runs a lot of seconds, doesn't she, Royal Descent?
Yeah, she's the ultimate bridesmaid. But look, it's not as if she's not trying.
And they're all good races.
They're all
Group 1 races.
big races that she's just being nutted in. But look, take nothing away from this winner. He's your man. He's an emerging talent. He put the writing on the wall in the Kingston Town last time, where he toyed with a pretty good field there. And then yesterday, I thought he overcome some difficulties early because he got really squeezed up here. You'll see him in the blue. Here, you'll see there, just comes across, gets tightened up, puts off balance. Just hard to pick yourself up from something like that. That's not easy, and I thought it was a tip-top performance.
Yeah, it was. The horse was primed and ready for this. He was coming back in distance, and sometimes those Randwick miles is, you know, you need a good 2,000-metre horse to actually win them, and you know that's been proven before. But yes, Joe got a bit buffeted on him, but you know what? That's the thing about Joe Moreira. He's not like some of those other jockeys from overseas that really sets them for 10 strides. He was straight back on, you know, that all straight back on the bridle as soon as he could. The rest of it just played out as it played out. There are a few very good runs in this. Royal Ascent. I mean, she's going beautifully. I mean,
she deserved a better fight. Yeah, it was a pearler of a ride.
It was an absolutely gun ride. And look, she just got surprised by this horse on the line. I reckon, you know, if it goes another 10 strides, she fights back and maybe gets her head in front. But so she was just dead set unlucky there. And
let her have and then have the last shot at them. Last start, she was the hunted. Let her become the hunter, because I think she really attacks along and she chases. I think Chris has been on record saying this will be a run before she goes for a break. She'll throw her all at today. She's got a big task. There's not much between the top two.
Of course I did, man.
Leading trainer Chris Waller, 3 winners today, including the Group 1.
He's very kind with his time. Number 2 is First Seal. This is the big danger to Winks, Johnny Thompson and Blake Shin.
Have a look at her. She's a striking type. You meet her down a Darkers by Thorn Park going past Linda and Graham Huddy's colours, and look, a store gift. So it'll lead here. 232.70. There's not much between them. This is the Group 1 for the 3 old fillies. It's the Coolmore Flight Stakes. Let's head upstairs to Mark Sheen.
They're off and racing. Thinking of You missed the start. She came out at the rear. Echo Gal the best out, leads from Dynamic Rock and Press Report going up on the outside. First Seal lobs into a nice spot, 4th one out, followed by Thinking of You, Lady Sharapova. And he's gone right back to the tail on Winks today, so she's a lot further back in the run. Echo Gal to go. Echo Gal is bowling along at a slow tempo. Leads by 3/4 or a length on Press Report, Dynamic Rock, and First Seals on the outside. Thinking of You and Winks are together in the next group, and Lady Sharapova is at the rear of the field. 650 to go. Echo Gal's in front and leads from Press Report. Nothing's made a move as yet, followed by Dynamic Rock. First Seal poised behind the leaders coming to the home turn. And then Winks over on the rail. Thinking of You on the outside, and Lady Sharapova. 5 lengths covers and they turn. He pulls out now on First Seal. It's Echo Gal in front. Leads from Press Report. First Seal is about to pounce on the outside. Winks is trying to go with it and Thinking of You, but First Seal exploded. She raced away at the 200 from Echo Gal. Then Winks, Press Report and Thinking of You, but First Seal, get in the queue if you're on it. It's raced away and First Seal's going to be much too good. Wins it by 3. Winks is second. Thinking of You might have got third in front of Press Report. Then Lady Sharapova, Echo Gal, and last in was Dynamic Rock.
She's the dominant 3 old filly, First Seal. That was electrifying. When she came around the corner, Blake Shin brought her up 3 deep. And when he pushed the button, she didn't take 2 strides to get going. She exploded in 1. Oh, she's the real deal. Plenty of fun to be had with this girl.
You know, they never live up to what they show and or what they look, but she's got great presence about her. She's got an unbelievable motor, and she just puts it onto the track. And you know, it's great to be given the opportunity by the owners.
Had a tough year emotionally, but what does it mean to you personally to have a Group 1 winner on Epsom Day?
Look, it means a lot.
And you know, the instructions before he goes out is just confidence.
Fillies that can run a trip, John, that can explode and run sectionals. Like the day that she won on Kensington track, I think it was one of the fastest sectionals of the day.
Oh, for sure. You know, she's, you're saying, not a better specimen, but Cummings does have an idea when he's picking a horse. And Duncan Ramage, full credit to them. You know, they picked her out and bought her.
Winks is second. Thinking of you might have got 30.
Wow, what a performance. She's emerged on the scene, this $700,000 Fastnet Rock filly under the guidance of John Thompson, who joins us this morning. Well done, John. What an exciting time in your career. And
champion, or she just goes for a break.
When she won on the Kensington track, Johnny, I interviewed her after the race, and off camera you said, I think she could be the best filly or the best horse I've had. She ran great sectionals that day. Then she got beat on a bog track, but back on top of the ground, we've seen that turn of foot she's got just explosive.
Yeah, well, you can see she's a great type of horse, and she's from.
Thompson's had his biggest owner, Patnack Farm, has decided to move on from racing. Along comes the China Horse Club to invest money into Australian racing, and they've got a very smart filly here with First Seal.
Could be the best one he's had, I'd say for sure. She's an outstanding filly. She just blew away pretty good field there, and she did it with style. She's got a turn of speed, which good horses need. I think she's still got more to come, whether it's next week or in a month, or whether it's next autumn. We'll leave that to John Thompson to sort out. Whether she goes, let's talk of the Spring Champion Stakes. Geez, why wouldn't you go to the 1,000? Just back, if you're going to back her up, why not back her up in the 1,000 guineas? She'd win that with her head on her chest, believe me.
Oh, I wouldn't go that far. I think she's very good, and she looked beautiful yesterday, but it was a very small and reasonably uncompetitive field, but she trounced them, and that's the most important part. Look at her here. She comes up on the outside. She's jog-trotting. She's on the bit. Can't be held slow enough here. And Winks is on her back and peeling off, but she sort of got left flat-footed when First Seal went bang like this. Two and a half, 3 lengths on Winks in the space of 50 to 100 metres. I mean, that's a very good performance. I don't think Winks went quite as well, and the rest of the field was reasonably uncompetitive. So I think she's very good. I think it's a given that she would win with her head on her chest in 1,000 guineas.
Oh, she would. Believe me, she would.
If she goes.
Oh, look, I don't know where she's heading. Maybe Andrew knows. But I'm going to be forgiving for Winks there. I think she's still immature. She's still got a bit of growing and strengthening up to do. Wait for her in the autumn. She's top shelf as well.
And Spillway's the favourite at 440. Who are they backing, Dubber?
Yeah, Spillway's been well supported, 8 into $4.10. So it's been supported today. There's been a few bets of $2 but $5. Kingdoms at $7. You've got La Amistad at $7.50.
Metropolitan, number 1, Janoob, $4.60 out to $5. Bagman, 14 to 16. Big go here for Spillway, 5 into $3.90. Opinion, 14 into 12, 14 into $13. Araldo, $31. Kingdom, $9 into $8. Wish Come True, 20 into 17. Dean
Amistad. Fan racing now. And Iggy Pop from the inside jumped out well. Travolta next to it being hurried along, and Wish Come True's there. Spillway jumped out okay, and he's rolling forward into about 4th spot. Dean Martin's wider out. Then Janoob followed by Lamastad and Kingdoms. A bit of a mad charge early on. Then Bagman followed by Opinion and Khalid out. Voodoo Prince, Brigantan, Disclaimer, Araldo. Tupac Amaru is last of all. Travolta burnt clear now. Leads from Iggy Pop. He was a bit wide on Spillway, so he's kicking up to go to... And Tupac Amaru's in a different postcode to this leader. They're strung out over plenty territory as they get to the 1,000. Travolta is ensuring a solid gallop here in the Metropolitan. Iggy Pop is second. Dean Martin is already being heeled along, followed by Janoob, and then Opinion, followed by Spillway, Wish Come True. Further back, Brigantan on the inside, then La Amistad and Kingdom's Bagman, followed further back by our Voodoo Prince, and then Araldo. Khalid was next from Disclaimer, and Tupac Amaru. It's Travolta in front being challenged now by Iggy Pop, and Janoob sits off them, followed by Dean Martin. Spillway's running 5th, and then at the head of the others, Opinion trying to get to the outside. Wish Come True is next. Janoob straight up and hit the lead. Janoob took over. Travolta and Iggy Pop are gone. Spillway was next, and down the outside we've got Kingdoms and Bagman. They're coming from the back of the field. Janoob's been left in front a long way from home. He's still 2.5 in front of Opinion. Araldo's getting through between horses. Bagman on the outside. Janoob, can he see it out? Opinion looks his main danger on the outside. Janoob is still in front. He's a neck in front. He'll win it. Janoob has won it from Opinion and Araldo. Then came Kingdoms and Disclaimer running on, followed by Bagman, and then came Brigantan, followed by Khalid.
Chris Waller got the Quinella in the Epsom. He gets the Quinella in the Metropolitan. Janoob, what an outstanding effort.
He dug deep. He did dig deep. It was a very courageous win. Look, I got to the front too early, man, so it's great for him to own 2 Group 1 winners on such a feature day today.
And 2 Group 1 winners for the day. Well done.
Thank you very much. It's very special and look like it's
Interesting race, and that's why these staying races.
Into a Caulfield Cup off the back of that. Janu betting opinion 1-2 for Chris there. And Blake Shin, the winning jockey, joins Chris in this year. Well done to you, Blake. Get a great day and
support and working hard. But yeah, yesterday is a result of all the hard work and all the support that I'm getting, and that's where we want to be competing on the big stage and winning the Group 1s.
What were you thinking yesterday, Blake? So
I was basically just keeping my horse rolling, rolling with his momentum, and then the leaders stopped. So I wasn't going to break his momentum when the leaders were coming back. So I just went with the horse, and I was found in a position where I was in front at the 400, and I felt, well, I'm in front, I'll just go for home.
But that's you knowing the horse. Prepared horse, beautifully placed. It was put into a beautiful rhythm by Blake Shin and a trouble-free run. That's all it was. And in saying that, I think they pretty well dominated this race, as it turns out at the finish. Kingdom's wax into 4th spot here, but he's a horse just going well at the moment. He's in the zone.
That was a proper staying test yesterday, a proper staying test, and look how the horses finished. European.
I had 13 runners in the race.
I know they did, but it's
Barman trying to get its way up the list in the order of entry for the Emirates Melbourne Cup here, and Sea Moon first over the line the race last year. And that's about the race, really. Either or.
It's no easy feat. These European style preparation for this import, it might be the thing that.
And over on the outside, jumping okay, was Who Shot the Barman. Boss looking over to try and find somewhere to slot in. Master's Degree goes forward, and also just underneath it is Waltzing to Win, looking for the lead, or part of it at least, as they make their way to the turn out of the straight. And Marksmanship has settled just off them in 3rd place on the rail, almost a length to Ethiopia. Sea Moon back along the inside. Who Shot the Barman is trying to slot in. He's gone back to 3rd last to get in there, and Nudgewin is 2nd. Behind them, 3rd along the inside, a half Ethiopia. 2 lengths further back then came Sea Moon, with a Nudgewin poking up along the rails. Who Shot the Barman still towards the end, and back to Abilene a further length and a half away as they put the 1,000 metres behind them. Master's Degree by just on a length. Waltzing to Win running 2nd. Marksmanship on the rail. Ethiopia a half 4th the outside. Now Boss is starting to get a little bit busy at the 800 on Who Shot the Barman. He's taken him to the outside on the Orange Silks now, followed by a Nudgewin down on the inside. Sea Moon is being ridden along. He's 2nd last and back to Abilene. They've bunched a bit coming around the home turn. 500 to go. And Master's Degree still has the leaders. Have entered the straight. Now with 500 to go, here comes Who Shot the Barman out wide on the course, throwing at his challenge. Master's Degree under the whip, the leader. Marksmanship trying to get over his heels, just keeping him a little bit cramped for room as Waltzing to Win. And now Who Shot the Barman starts to come down the outside ahead of a Nudgewin. 200 metres left to go. Marksmanship got the run in the middle. Who Shot the Barman on the outside, and they've come away now to fight the race out. Who Shot the Barman going home the better now in the final 100 metres. He comes away, and it's Who Shot the Barman racing clear easily to beat Marksmanship by 3. A Nudgewin 3rd, and close up on the inside then Waltzing to Win. Sea Moon just ground away. Master's Degree weakened. Back to Abilene, back towards the tail, and last in is Ethiopia.
Probably had the worst of the runs in transit, and he gets the best of the results. A real stayer, and he takes a leap to.
Ship by 3. A Nudgewin 3rd.
Well, no, you can knock it and say Nudgewin ran 3rd. I don't care about that. If you get a kilo here for Who Shot the Barman, that might put you into a Caulfield Cup. Would you run if you got the start in the Caulfield Cup?
For sure. Yeah, it looks the logical lead-up race, and how could he get a start in the Caulfield Cup? He's won a Auckland Cup, Group 1 2-mile race in New Zealand. He's won the Group 2 Avondale Cup prior to that. He's won an open handicap in Melbourne, admittedly after the weights had come out for the Caulfield Cup. But
you seem to be saying that a lot of emphasis is being placed on overseas racing and not Australian racing. I can just see that in the background here at the moment.
It's like saying today St Helens or Wigan can be playing in our NRL Grand Final. Will that be happening in a few years' time? I'm not saying it's bad, but come on, these races are Australian and New Zealand history races. And
the Barman. Well, we know he's won at 2 miles, albeit in easier company. He won an Auckland Cup going back to earlier this year, but he's doing good things there in Melbourne.
He's strong, isn't he? He runs 2 mile. He's the old-fashioned 2-miler, but Look, he's a lightly raced horse with a very, very good record when you analyse it. Chris seems to have got him going well. He really was 3 deep from the 1400 home here. And you thought, oh, look, he's got to run out of steam. But
and he was under pressure at the 600 metre mark just to stay in touch with the leaders. They went. I don't think they went that fast, and then they accelerated up just before the corner. And he got left flat-footed a little bit. And I thought, oh, you might not be as good as we thought you were.
The thing in his favour, this horse can, when he gets to 2 mile, he can lead. He can sit back in the field. He handles it dry. He loves it wet.
Moriarty. This is the Gill guy coming up with a small field, but an intriguing race with the favourite Chautauqua. A swooping wide when the last time out, drawing the inside gate here, bounding. Another speed runner from New Zealand with a great record drawing in. And Temple of Boomer, a winner of this race 3 years ago, back to try and win again. They're the 3 key runners in the yard with Shark number 1 here. Of course, Platelet last year, Halliwell Bell, Temple of Boom, Haylist. And all silent. There might be shades of all silent here with Chautauqua. A similar racing pattern here. And
they're underway. And Chautauqua jumps fairly down towards the inside. Getting away well was Temple of Boom, and Bounding got away reasonably well in the early stages. SA Raider was pushing on towards the front, and Flamberge and Il Cavallo are wider out on the course as they settle into stride now. And they're running down past the 900 metres, and it's Bounding down towards the inside with a share of the lead. Temple of Boom is up there with her on the outside. Just in behind those, SA Raider, Flamberge, Longmire and Il Cavallo is the widest runner. He's right up with the leading bunch. Followed just in behind the speed is Final Crescendo. Now let's see, Chautauqua's plotting his course down towards the inside there. River Lad between horses. Limes back towards the end. Longmire's a long way back in the field, and Smoke and Joey down the outside. Coming to the 300 metres now, and it's Bounding the leader from Temple of Boom, and Chautauqua getting up on the inside. Il Cavallo wider was beaten off, and then River Lad running on. Here's Chautauqua let go at the clock tower, and he's darted up, and he's claimed Bounding and Temple of Boom, and he's away and gone. And it's going to be a repeat of last time. He's racing away impressively again. Chautauqua by 3 or 4 to Bounding. Good photo for third. Getting up on the inside, Final Crescendo will probably get it ahead of River Lad, Temple of Boom, and then Il Cavallo. Flamberge, Limes didn't come on. Well back in the field to finish then.
Oh, what about that? Who said 1 alley was a problem? Wouldn't matter if it had 21 alley. It would have won the same. Great to see the Nous have done just right like the best horse it was. 3 back with some cover, and G. Carla, there was plenty to get to let go with when he decided to let go.
Yeah, he certainly is. He just ambled up today, and yeah, it's just a matter of just putting him away. But you know, he can run out to 1800 if he has to. But gee, he's pretty efficient down the straight.
This is pretty special.
Well, I mean, as any trainer that's sitting there listening now, you don't have the luxury with 400 metres to go to put the cue in the rack and smoke the pipe. So it was just good fun to stand back and actually watch him unfold and quicken up the way he did. It was great.
You don't see it in a group race. You might
well decide whether to keep him in straight racing or run him in a race like the Emirates. So he's fairly adaptable sort of a horse. So it was a really, really good effort today. Certainly that was his best win, and he's had a few good wins so far.
What's turned him around? Well, not turned him.
Well, bring it on, Slade Power, bring on Lankan Rupee, bring on Terra Vista. Wouldn't that be a beaut race up the straight? Bounding maintains that 1-2 position. It's a 12-star career. But this is awesome.
Oh, amazing win again. You know, straight picked up where he left off in the Bobby Lewis, just cruising in behind the pack there, picking up beautifully and so easily onto the leader's backs and then exploding away. You know, what an exciting horse. He got me up and out of my seat yesterday screaming and getting him home. Poor old Kalen Isbett thought I'd either had a fortune on it or I was a part owner. Unfortunately, neither. It's the sort of talent he is, Chautauqua. He gets people excited. And at this time of year when we've got so many once-a-year racegoers or a handful of visits to the track a year racegoers, we need this sort of horse to really get them up and about and buzzing about the Spring Carnival. Yeah, he's going to be a real hard horse to beat when he goes to that Group 1 Daly Classic. If that's where he goes, they're also talking the Emirates Stakes, Bruce. Touch of all silent about him.
Well, he's pretty good up the straight. What we just told him in the last month, I said he's the best sprinter in Australia, 3 different horses. Look, he's a star. There's only 3 things.
Good photo for third.
Chautauqua, Dwayne Dunn on board. He's won 2 out of 2 this preparation, and both of those wins down the straight there at Flemington. Overall, he's won 4 out of 9, and he certainly looks like one of the most exciting sprinters in the country at the moment. He just has that wow factor in his wins, doesn't he?
Doesn't he? Well, that's 2 runs. I want to see him round a bend and do the same thing before I start. Wow, you're the best in the land.
What
But
would you want to back between him and Lankan Rupee right now?
well, I want to back Terra Vista.
Well, there's another one too. Yeah.
There's a couple more to
Yeah.
come. You know, we've got some really exciting young talent sprinters that are untapped at the moment.
He's explosive, this horse.
He's very good.
He's absolutely explosive. He ran his last 1,000 metres in 54 and change. Now, the record's 55, but that's off a standing start. He's off the flying start here. But have a look at this. He just let him go.
Wow.
I don't even think he really... He gave him a couple of cuts to keep his mind on the job, but he just keeps getting further in front.
When you think of it, you know, he's a good mare bounding, and Templar Boom's a fantastic straight course horse. And he made him, I think there was a 6 kilo turnaround in the weights yesterday.
In his wake.
Exciting prospect. I still, like I say, he was a bit of a numbskull round the bends here last prep, but I just think that was an immaturity thing. But a really exciting horse. Look at this market. Here's the you know,
Jeff, they all turn up on the day. Throw in Deep Field there as well.
Deep Field's
What
the
a
horse
hot
that
race
broke
that is.
a course record at his second start.
No, that's the race of the spring if it all works
It won't happen. We won't get them all there, surely.
That's what it was, Chautauqua. Field getting ready for the manifold. C. Severe won it last year. A big odds for Matt Laurie. The short price favourite here in Maastricht from the same stable as the previous winner. Although it's been a bit soft in the betting. 310 out to that 360 will show those flux. The move coming for Fontaine Ruby here. 650 into 5.
One of the first to jump. Schwadermeyer began fast and also beginning quickly. Royal Oceans up there with Pittsburgh Flyer and Fontaine Ruby going on. And also trying to be part of it, but very deep was Verbalicious. But Pittsburgh Fly leads, settling fully from Royal Ocean on her outside, and Fontaine Ruby pasted out 3 wide on the speed. Maastricht in behind them at the 1,200 metres, gets a nice trail. She's 4th, and Verbalicious has got over into a flying star. Fontaine Ruby, after being trapped wide, had gone to the lead mid-race and went by the 800 in front by a length to Royal Ocean 2nd. Pittsburgh Flyer 3rd on the inside. Verbalicious is 4th, and Maastricht, the grey, is down 50 inside. They're being followed by Not a Happy Camper, who's niggled out, and then Schwadermeyer as they cornered from Little Hottie. Crafty trying to work home, and then Miss Interiors when they swing into the straight now. And Fontaine Ruby is first for the judge by 2. Pittsburgh Flyer, who couldn't ask for a better run, and then Royal Ocean. Maastricht is getting away from heels, and now she's presenting when then Verbalicious. Fontaine Ruby the leader down by the 300 coming out of Pittsburgh Flyer. Maastricht starting to wind up, and Crafty from well back making ground. It's Fontaine Ruby, Pittsburgh Flyer, Maastricht coming at them. Crafty launching. Fontaine Ruby still in for the fight. She's leading narrowly. Maastricht trying to launch late on the outside. They come to the line. She's missed. And Fontaine Ruby just held Maastricht. Crafty jumping home. Pittsburgh Flyer just weakened a little bit late. Followed further back then. Hipster Girl got home. And then Little Hottie. And with those to finish to Verbalicious.
Wait till you see the shots of these owners for Fontaine Ruby. They've had a troublesome life with her. She's been some barrier issues, scratched on race days, and here she is winning a valuable Group 2. It was a busy race. She was determined too. She earned the victory, every possible for mine. Maastricht and Crafty.
Many of these looking towards the Oaks. It's a funny little movement now, this race, just a week.
Up next week, the 1,000 guineas. Maastricht heads towards the Oaks, as does Crafty. I think the 2nd and 3rd there go to the Ethereal. Then on.
She didn't really settle in front. She wanted to just race a little aggressively, but I thought there was a fair bit of merit in this win. Robert Smurden's team's up and running and well at the moment. I think the stablemate of the winner was very, very good here. Crafty could well turn into a and I'm keeping an eye on her for the Oaks.
I think Robert thinks she's an Oaks filly. She's there in those maroon, crimsony looking colours, just coming off the heels. Now she raced very greenly. Keep your eye on her. She ducked in, ducked out, rider changed whips, and she just kept doing it. But the filly who led wasn't such a dawdle. It was quite running at a reasonably genuine pace, and was she just win? It was a great fighting win. Maastricht, maybe it's just a little too soon for her.
Well, look, she's only 2nd up here. I think she's obviously got upside. Yep. There's a big rap on her, and understandably so, because she went to another level there yesterday. I know they went up $10, and she ended up starting, $2 something favourite. So there is a big boom on her, and I thought there was a lot of merit in that performance, but Crafty's the one that caught my attention as far as the longer fillies races are concerned. I think
Turnbull Stakes. Let's have a look at them. The favourite in the ring is Puissance de Lune, but this super popular horse from Paul Bashara's Happy Trails is your tote favourite. Such is the adulation for him and how much Paul loves this horse. Let's get to the yard because jockeys are up. Number 1, Green Moon, top pick for major player. 2,000 metres at Flemington. Tick, tick.
Yeah, it's an Australian Cup winner.
Her grandmother won it in 91. The great Let's Alape. They're ready to run. Set for the Turnbull. 2,000 metres. They're ready to go. And they're off, and Happy Trails jumps well, and so does Puissance to Learn. Entirely Platinum got away well, and up there Brambles in the blue cap. The grey Greek Caro's handy. Let's Make a Deal presses on from outside, and Ladari is prominent as well, so it's a bit of a battle for the early lead now. They settle down. Entirely Platinum on the outside of Brambles. Let's Make a Deal 3 deep as third, and Ladari's a length away fourth. Puissance to Learn fifth on the inside. The greys race together. Greek Caro 3/4 away on his outside. 2 lengths further back in the field. Then at the head of the other horses is Super Cool down on the inside as they run out by the 1400 metres. Around the outside then is Stipulate. About 2 lengths further back is The Offer. Lucia Valentina about a length and a half further back. Silent Achiever. She couldn't be part of that early speed. Happy Trails next on the inside as they went by the 1200 metres, and they're being followed by Thoughtworthy, Hawkspur, and then Green Moon and Shoreham at the end of the field. It's Entirely Platinum the leader as they race to the 1000 in the Turnbull. Let's Make a Deal a length away second. Brambles third on the inside. Ladari's a half a length away fourth. A length and a half Puissance to Learn fifth on the inside of Greek Caro. They're followed then by Super Cool down on the inside of Stipulate. A length and a half at the 800 metres came The Offer. Is about 7 off the leader. Lucia Valentina looking for the way clear from the inside. They're being followed as they sweep to the turn. Thoughtworthy is pulled out around Silent Achiever. Lucia Valentina. Happy Trails as well back as they corner. And then Green Moon pulled to the outside, and Hawkspur towards the end in company with Shoreham. Entirely Platinum first into the straight from Let's Make a Deal. Here comes Ladari with his run, and Brambles trying to push through as well ahead of Super Cool. Puissance to Learn coming down the outside, and Happy Trails is sneaking runs along the inside. At the 200 metres now, and Ladari and Brambles race up. And here's Lucia Valentina coming with Puissance to Learn. They're down the outside together. It's Brambles, Ladari, and Lucia Valentina joining in. Brambles, Ladari. Lucia Valentina comes up the best, and she's good. Lucia Valentina by a neck to either Ladari or Brambles for the Miners. They got away to Puissance to Learn. Followed closely then by Stipulate. The Offer got home nicely from Silent Achiever. Spur followed by Entirely Platinum and Happy Trails in company with Let's Make a Deal and Super Cool. Further back is Greek Caro. Shoreham back towards the end. Green Moon didn't come on. He's one of the last over, and a distant last in it is Thoughtworthy.
Well, there's your Caulfield Cup favourite without any doubt. Lucia Valentina given a lovely ride by McAvoy, trailing back the fence. Presents and toughs it out strongly at the end of 2,000 metres, and the 4-year-old mare who's come to Chris Lee's during the year. And she sets herself up beautifully for 2 weeks' time. OTI runs second and third here. It will be Bramble second and third. Get away from the rest here. Good, strong.
Relaxed her so well. Good staying mare. She is, Sammy, yeah. Very smart 3-year-old, obviously, and she's starting to show that at 4, which is really exciting for Chris and the team. And we wanted to get her out and be a bit closer today, which we were able to do. It was a nice enough tempo the whole way, and had to sort of dart back in and ride for a bit of luck, but she's got a great turn of foot, and she was able to show that today, and
all systems go for a fortnight's time.
Yeah, it was, Bruce. I rushed down Wednesday night. She had a bit of heat in her foot, and therefore we didn't work a Thursday morning. I'm very public about that, but might have been a blessing. She raced very well today.
What were you thinking going to the day? Would a pass mark have been a nice run? Is a win a bonus?
Win's a bonus because you don't want any setbacks in Group 1 races. So she'd only had 2 relatively soft runs going into the race. So I would have liked to have just stuck a little bit more work into her. But that said, there's not a lot of her, and she's coming up really well, and she's on track.
You have to do.
Oh, tremendous win, determined win by the 4-year-old mare, and she's trying to do what Let's Elope did back in 1991 when the Turnbull go on to the Caulfield Cup and then perhaps the Melbourne Cup. Best day won there yesterday. There's a heap of tales of woe here, primarily Happy Trails, where the Cox Plate. He's got something to give in the Cox Plate. But Lucia Valentina getting the job done in great style.
A terrific win, wasn't it, Bruce? And a great ride from Karen McAvoy, recently departed from the Dali employ. He's out on his own now, and wins like this are going to get him plenty of good rides over the Spring Carnival, that's for sure, as well as his CV. The horse just travelled so well for him. He didn't really have to ask it for an effort till about the 250 when that gap appeared, and she responded, and that's what's going to take her so long, so deep into a Caulfield Cup. That's the sort of style of horse you want. The 2 OTO horses run out of their skin, Ladari and Brambles, but I think that was probably the right Group 1 for them. Looking back through the field, obviously Happy Trails, fantastic. A few disappointing runs. The Offer obviously didn't let go on the firm track. Silent Achiever, Green Moon, Super Cool. I thought they were just a bit plain yesterday.
Well, let's hear from the beaten jockeys, then we'll get back to Chris.
1-1, and then I went up to him pretty early because he's a little bit one-paced.
Winner just had a little bit turn of foot on me, but he stayed on well on the line.
Terrific run. He hit the front 150 out, and I reckon he's even peaked on his run a little bit. So there's still improvement in him. So I'm really excited about the way he's going. Excited to see him back to his best.
Everything transpired beautifully through the run, and when we got out, I really felt that it was our best chance to really get his big result. But he felt the ground then, and he when pulling up wasn't at his best. He come back then okay, but I think he'll have tired legs tonight.
Barriers, I had to give him a squeeze just to be where I was, and then I just didn't have any luck in the straight. I just ran up behind him, so the handbrake was still on, but it wouldn't drop off him for the Cox Plate, that's for sure.
Absolutely not. Plenty of filling the ground there yesterday. Chris, I think that's the case with Hawkesbury as well.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure about that, but I just think there was a lot of plain runs in the race, and because of that, I think you'll see some horses change. They couldn't all go that bad. We were back, and it's just quite often hard to make up ground in those Flemington 2,000 metre races. So I think some horses are clearly looking for further. And
racing at Flemington, Lucia Valentina. She'd had a few problems with a hoof during the week too, so she can probably improve on that performance there in the Turnbull Stakes. But let's go back to Werribee, because at Werribee
on Wednesday, Thursday, there was a bit of nervous sort of 24 hours or so, but she's obviously right on a game for the Caulfield Cup.
Yeah, she showed that yesterday, and Chris wasn't too worried. Obviously, not entirely happy with the little hiccup during the week, but he said that she didn't miss all that much work, and he said that she'll move fine, and she on the way to the barriers she moved really well, and we had a really good run yesterday, and she's got that really sharp turn of foot, which was able to get her out of an awkward spot into a winning spot, and I was right with the way she went yesterday.
I mean, is she a nice type to ride, given that you got the cover, probably what you wanted, and then around the bend you got into clear air, and she just seemed to find for you straight away.
Yeah, she's pretty sharp and dynamic when you want her, and when you need her to pick up, and she's a little darling to ride, easy to ride, and not overly big, but she's got a good change of gears, which is what you need in these big races, and she relaxes well and saves her energy for those parts of the race that you need it. So, she hasn't been around Caulfield, but
huge, but certainly going into a Group 1 race, it's not ideal. So she can improve big time off that.
Yeah, she's come up big time, hasn't she? She was devastating, obviously, first up. Second up, I thought she proved a point that I thought she raced well in the Group 1, and she backed it up yesterday, and boy, she showed them older horses up. These 4-year-olds are really showing these older horses up at the moment. You've got Dissident, and I think this Rupert Clark last week, all the 4-year-olds.
And not all the stars 3-year-olds. These are horses that have jumped up a level or two. That's a bit of a surprise. Here we go.
Great ride, Karen.
I'm just watching the offer down the outside. He's a horse I've been watching during the Spring Carnival, and I thought yesterday was time for him to stand up and be counted if he was going to stay favourite for the. What did you think?
He sort of battled away to the line, didn't he? Really, it wasn't bad run, but you didn't have any, as Ronnie says, the flashing light. I think forget about Happy Trails' run. Now, I like Michael Rod, and Michael's been riding very well recently, but I don't think that was one of his best rides. He was quite negative on the horse. He went back a long way on the fence and then hunted up on the fence, ran into dead ends, and then the last 100 metres just sat up on the horse, and the horse finished well back, but he would have finished a lot closer. Lucia Valentina, I didn't give her any hope at all, because I thought, little thing, been winning on wet tracks, and now has got a foot abscess.
Chasing the ride, but Michael Robb will certainly stay on. And from Silent Achiever's point of view, Roger James frustrated a little bit. Damien Oliver gave himself up and confessed after the race that they went back. She went back when they really wanted to ride her forward. Her sectionals weren't too bad. Does she go to the Caulfield Cup? Does she make the Cox Plate? Has she done enough to push herself into a field full of Group 1 winners? It'll be interesting. Is my thought. I reckon she might end up at Caulfield in the Cup.
Yeah, look, with Silent Achiever and Puissance de Lune, maybe it's looking like they need wet tracks at this stage of their career.
Well, he's had a well-known leg issue, Puissance de Lune, and maybe he's just feeling the firmer tracks.
Yeah, or maybe not. Maybe it's easy to use that as an excuse. The track was too firm. If anyone puts their foot on Flemington, the grass is that long. I don't care how firm it is. They've got a good cushion of grass on that track.
They really should.
They used it as an excuse for Puissance de Lune. Okay, the track was too hard for him. The vet went over him after the race, said normal action. Yeah, he's fine.
Some places in Asia, particularly Japan, when they say the track is firm, Man, it's
firm. That's right.
It's really firm. So, you know, we're not out of step with the rest of the world here. It's not ridiculously firm here.
I think the track, the Flemington's beautiful at the moment.
I thought it played beautiful. A lot of people said
He's the type of horse that had run very, very well in a Melbourne Cup.
Lucia Valentina's, that's better.
Yeah.
That's more like it, I think.
That's
No,
the
Lucia
second page.
Valentina is the favourite for the Melbourne Cup.
She is. Yep.
They're dreaming.
Well, we can go back to that first page, if you like. They're the longer price. She's $10 equal favourite with the offer.
I wouldn't have either of them as favourite.
Well, what would you have favourite? Can we find a favourite? Is she there by default?
I'd have those two Japanese horses as the favourite.
Yeah. Well, we'll learn about.
She is. Yep.
They're dreaming.
Well, we can go back to that first page, if you like. They're the longer price. She's $10 equal favourite with the offer.
I wouldn't have either of them as favourite.
Well, what would you have favourite? Can we find a favourite? Is she there by default?
I'd have those two Japanese horses as the favourite.
Yeah. Well, we'll learn about them after the Caulfield Cup. They could be dominant.
You might be right.